Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the City of Williston City Council meeting. The date is August 19th, 2025. The time is now 6:03 p.m. and the City of Williston, Florida Council has come to order. Ms. Wright, would you call roll, please?
Mayor Goodman,
I am here.
Council President Hinds, she's absent. Vice President Cox,
Here.
Councilmember Jones,
Here.
Councilmember Martin,
Here.
Councilmember Riccio, City Manager Sue Beaudet,
Here.
Attorney Kiersten Ballou,
Here.
City Clerk Latricia Wright, I am here, and all other staff. Thank you.
All righty, we're going to have opening prayer and pledge allegiance to the flag by Mr. Charles Goodman, the mayor.
Join me if you will. Lord, we come together today, a city of your children who are trying to manage our way in this world. Lord, help us to each one of us to be kind to each other, to be understanding of all the issues, to ask questions where they need to be asked, and seek for the answers that you need. And Lord, we ask you to be with each one of these people as they have come from their homes and taken their lives, time out of their lives, Lord, just to be part of a community. And I ask you to be with the police department, Lord, as they every day, the least little traffic stop can turn into a major confrontation. And Lord, I ask you to be with the fire department as they go to their various rounds trying to save lives. And I ask you to be with all city employees to help them to do the best that they can in their work. In your name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please have a seat.
All right. Item 1, addition, deletions, changes, and approval to the agenda. Ask for approval.
Mr. President, there are three items that I would like to move onto the agenda. The first will be Resolution 2025-90 that you have in front of you regarding Wright Pierce. Wright Pierce is here to speak on that issue. The second, Resolution 2025-89, which is another directive from FGU, similar to what you all saw last month. And then the third is also sitting in front of you, discussion with possible action on the Dodge Charger. I would request that Wright Pierce and FGU be added as B and C, and that the discussion with possible action on the Charger be added as J, with everything that moved down.
All right. Everybody got that?
What do we do with B and C? Will they become a different number?
Right.
Because we have a B and C.
Yep. So B and C
Will it become E and F?
Right. So
Or D and E?
So D and E, and then D would become F, E becomes G, F becomes H, G becomes I, and then J is your. Everybody just moves down one.
Thank you. I move the agenda as revised.
I second.
All right, we have a first, we got a second. Any discussion? Anybody? All right. Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right. 4-0. All right, item 2, presentation of employee pins, 10+ years of service, HR Director Kim Troy.
Good evening. I'm handing out certificates of appreciation. This certificate is proudly awarded to Stephen Burnett. Thank you for your dedication and contributing to the City of Williston's success over the last 10 years. This certificate is proudly awarded to Jared Caswell. Thank you for your dedication and contributing to the City of Williston's success over the last 10 years. This certificate is proudly awarded to Luke Holton. Thank you for your dedication and contributing to the City of Williston's success over the last 10 years. This certificate is proudly awarded to Thomas Kidd Jr. Thank you for your dedication and contributing to the City of Williston's success over the last 10 years. Thank you, sir. This certificate is proudly awarded to Kenneth Maddox. Thank you for your dedication and contributing to the City of Williston's success over the last 10 years. This certificate is proudly awarded to Joseph Moose. Thank you for your dedication and contributing to the City of Williston's success over the last 10 years. This certificate is proudly awarded to Cody Murphy. Thank you for your dedication and contributing to the City of Williston's success over the last 10 years. This certificate is proudly awarded to Kyle Spencer. Thank you for your dedication and contributing to the City of Williston's success over the last 10 years.
You done with that one, Kim? All right, item 3, presentation of Just Serve Award, Nancy Winiker and President Brantley.
Yeah, there you go.
Is that better?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you. Thank you for letting us take a little time at your council meeting tonight, and thank you, Mayor, for your patience with us as we get through this. I'd like to recognize, if y'all know this lady here, Nancy Winiger. She's a superstar with us.
Yep.
Grateful for her. We have some others that's with us here tonight, our communication director and our bishop here in Williston, Bishop Henderson's here with us tonight as well. You guys live in a beautiful area. Williston is just amazing. I'm in Ocala, really Bellevue, and I always enjoy the drive to Williston and area here. So, well, we're here tonight to present an award. It's pretty special to us. It's one of 3, I think, in the southeast that our church has given out, and 2 of them are in the Ocala stake, and the stake is a region that it is. But the southeast area goes all the way up to Arkansas and over to the Carolinas and down. So there's quite a big area. So it's an honor for you guys for you guys to have this award that we're going to present you with tonight. The Just Serve is a platform dedicated to spreading hope, kindness, and unity through volunteerism. Led by volunteers for volunteers, it empowers individuals to strengthen their communities through meaningful service. Provided by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, the JustServe.org website connects people from all backgrounds with local organizations and projects that need their hands to make a difference. The Just Serve City Award recognizes communities that embrace volunteerism, a core part of their mission. Today, we are honored to present this distinction to the city of Williston, Florida. Through its unwavering commitment to service, Williston has inspired its citizens to uplift one another and build a stronger, more connected community. Congratulations to Mayor Charles Goodman and the entire city of Williston for making service a way of life. We proudly declare Williston an official Just Serve city. And with that, we have this award. You guys can do something with it. We'll have some other stuff.
As the brochures are passed out to you, you're going to look over information. There's some stickers, there's some armbands, and there's some t-shirts. Say, justserve.org. So when you see this logo, when you see justserve.org, you'll know that that's somebody who volunteers in your community, which you all do, and I appreciate it. Citizen of Williston, thank you so much for what you do.
Miss Nancy, can we get you all to take a picture with the city manager with the award, please?
That's great.
And I just want to briefly make a comment that I've been a part of 2 nonprofits that Just Serve has helped through your church. And I really just want to thank you all for what you do. I know you've helped many other nonprofits in this community. And without you, we couldn't do some of the things that we do. And I do it from my church and also from the Women's Club. I do appreciate that so much and appreciate all you put into it.
You're so welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Moving on. Item 4, public participation. This is your first of 2 opportunities to address the council. At this time, anybody from the audience can come to the podium and speak for 5 minutes on any topic other than what is on the agenda. Please state your name and your resident and when you come up. And just a reminder, the council does not have to comment.
Yes, my name is Timothy, 225 Northeast 2nd Street. I came here a few months back about a few addresses that had water leaks, and most of them were fixed. So I got curious the other day just to go look and see if they were all fixed, and they weren't. So instead of get upset and get sidetracked like I do sometimes, I try to write things down where y'all can't get me that way. So where do I begin? How about fire Donald Barber and Jonathan Bishop because of derelict of duties, purposely not fixing severe water leaks? Example in front of Grayson Geiger business over 1 year. What happens if somebody sues for slip and fall? Because now it's just algae right there by it. They took the cones away so you don't notice. Next, Southeast 2nd Street, 329. I talked to the people. I went around there. This was part of the address a few months back. It wasn't near as bad as when I seen the other day. So I took videos and pictures of it. And so I spoke to the owners there, and they said it's been 4 years this has been going on. And it's not failure to fix the water leaks that are over there, and they just throw lime rock and patch it with asphalt. You can see several patches. It's ruined. They're going to their little carport. All the asphalt is just ruined. And they just over and over and over. That's how they fix it. And it goes to the intersection. Where the intersection is, there's a fire hydrant. It's a 6-inch water main going into a 3-inch water main. The water main is bubbling in 3 spots. One there by the side of the house, going east to west, and where the pavement comes in north to south, there's a leak. The full width all the way across goes complete. 2 lots over is nothing but water. The one area there is flooded in that yard, and it goes on the other side of the fire hydrant. So there's really no excuse. And then we got the water tower. Been leaking for how long now? I mean, we get double the water rate charge, but we got to apply to y'all. We have to pay for this when it comes in our house, coming and going. But y'all don't have to pay for anything. I mean, just saying, only the residents here. But it seems like the people that are in charge here that make $100,000 as supervisors, there's no accountability. And I just like to know who's accountable for it, because they're really very underqualified at best for this job, because there's no positive results to fix the outdated water system. I mean, you just can't keep patching and patch and patch. And I mean, I seen the pictures of the stuff. No wonder it's blowing out everywhere. I mean, kicking the can down the road does nothing about it whatsoever. Nothing. There's thousands of gallons every day that's wasted. We the citizens are being held hostage by mob-like tactics. This is nothing more than extortion here. Y'all say what y'all want or whatever. It don't matter to me. I'm not afraid of this. I live here. I get up and go to work every day. And a lot of y'all do too. But the ones that don't live here, that out in the county collect this money, they should move here and get some of this. Maybe it would change. There's got to be a changing of the guards here. And then y'all post on Facebook so proudly about y'all install thousands of feet of this cable. I wish y'all would take initiative to fix the water lines like y'all are doing this cable. Every week y'all post something like that. And everybody says, oh yeah, we got to get some cable. What about the water? Not one post of the city being brought up to code. Actually, complete disregard for not fixing, other than kick the can down the road with excuse after excuse. I'm not saying y'all. I'm talking about the supervisors. But something has to be done here other than nothing. Nothing. And the question is, who's responsible? Because there's not being accounted. And then when somebody like me speaks up, I'm the bad guy. Well, I'll be the bad guy every time. Believe me, I got shoulders to take. And I want to know I'd like to know how many signatures is it going to take from the citizens as a petition to fire Donald and Jonathan Barber. Both are full of excuses, way underqualified. I just like to know that they should prove the citizens wrong. Just prove us wrong, and I'll shut up. And the last question I got, does the citizens work for the city council and the city manager and supervisors, or do y'all work for us? I don't know what else to say. I mean, I'm a very concerned citizen. Williston's got 65% of people that live on retirement, but y'all are taxing everybody just beyond. I mean, it just don't. I don't know what to say.
That's right. I can't see the clock. I was late starting it. It's my fault. Please state your name, where you're resident.
Before she does that, I know we don't have to make comment, but I've got to make a few comments. Mr. Eckert, you're not real far from wrong. I agree with half of what you said. The part I do not agree with is that they are underqualified, because they are not. They are both very well qualified. They all have licenses in their field. Some of the places that you named are FDOT, and you know that. We've told you that before. Florida Department of Transportation is the water leak in front of the furniture store. We can't fix it. It's theirs. And there are others that have extenuating circumstances, as you also know, because you have been here before. I'll just leave it at that for right now.
Yes, sir. No, it's on.
It's on already.
There are pictures of 329 Southeast 2nd Street. What previous gentleman wants the properties he was talking about?
Just state your name for the record.
My name is Shauna K. Sullivan. I'm caregiver for Joseph Bonavita Jr., the homeowner. He is totally and permanently disabled. 13 diagnosis, 4 pending. We don't get out much, so you have to do that for this. We've lived in Williston going on 4 years, and we come from Pinellas County. We come from other states. You know, we've had a very hard time with this water issue. The latest one has been going on since the end of December of 2024. As he was saying, 329 Southeast 2nd Street. It's right at the end of our carport. When we moved in 4 years ago, our driveway was perfect. It hadn't lived in for 3 years. Now, blacktop's all cracked up. It looks like an artery of a heart. I know there is more, or even into the carport, our living space, which we have to drive through puddles every day, cracking up. We have come many times. I came to a special meeting in March regarding past water, you know, me calling, reporting this one with Mrs. Sue and many others. And I was given excuses. I talked to Mr. Goodman on the telephone, you know. I understand what Timmy means by being held hostage by a town. We're trying to sell this house to get out of here. And we know this town does not like us. I'm telling you. We're not from here. We understand that. But we are stuck because of this water issue. I had a car almost go into our house last week because the hole is bigger than that table right there. And about, what's it, Timmy? 8 to 12 inches deep. And the whole road is cracked up just in front of our driveway, our carport. I used to sweep the street where we live from 2nd Street to 3rd Street of all the pollen, leaves, do this, because I'm used to a street sweeper and everything comes on the carport, and the man I take care of, he's disabled. He has no spleen, so I have to keep the house immaculate. I have to keep him from any kind of, infection and this and that. I spend so much, or he does, in cleaning supplies, just from going in and out of our back door. And there's covered, we have wasp issues. You see some pictures, you can see the little mud. It's dangerous. My dog, she's a service dog, 12 years old. She's allergic to bees and things. I'm allergic to mosquitoes. This has been running constantly since January of last year. Many cars that come flying down that road. I see rocks coming up. The limestone they were putting on broke our windows, our AC unit. We are having so many problems. Now people are blaming us when their cars go down this hole. They're yelling at us. Why didn't you call and report this? Okay. They think we haven't. The girls at the front, know me, the sound of my voice. Oh, come on. I didn't prepare for this. I'm not good at this. I'm winging it. I'm just saying that I was laughed at in that meeting when they told me, oh, it's because we don't have a bracket to fit this pipe. So my first thought is, let's invent it. Let's make it. It's the year 2025, you know, with all the AI and all the technology that you all depend on. We don't even have internet, okay? We don't have cable. We depend on library movies for entertainment, okay? That's how it is with that. However, why not invent it? You know, a little bracket, whatever it is. Then they're telling us, oh, no, it's a pipe. We don't make them anymore. I've talked to several city workers, the kids that haven't been here, that does no better than not to talk to us. We got the pipe. We got this. They laughed at me, and I said, and Sue was there, and invent the bracket, get a machine, you know, go to a machine shop, make a mold, you know, do something. We'll have to shut down 27 to fix your water. You're not in the budget this year. You have to deal with the leak, basically. We had to shut down 27, which is 2 blocks north and 4 blocks to the left. Like I said, he is severely disabled, and he has had injuries.
Your 5 minutes is up, ma'am.
Okay, I'm sorry I didn't get everything out, but
Is this a current picture?
it's leaking. That's after they fixed it about 3 years ago.
Oh, so these pictures, one of these pictures.
Some of them, that's 4 years worth of what we have been dealing with over
I
and
didn't
over
think
and
it
over.
looked like that now. Thank you. No, sir. You can speak from the audience.
Yeah, he did. He took video. I have video. This is last
Okay.
minute. So, like I said, we're simple people. We keep disabled.
Okay, our 5 minutes. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
I can take it.
I didn't hear your question.
That was not a question. It was an observation that there are 2 opportunities.
Oh, there is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay, thanks. One mistake. And thank you so much for your time.
Miss Shanna, before she leaves, I need to speak with her.
Ms. Sullivan,
Miss Sullivan.
Sullivan.
come speak to Miss Latricia. I think she wants her address.
I'm Joel Denny. I live at 43 Northwest 4th Street. So my first topic is Donald made a reserve for high spike of light bills and stuff. I want to know why hasn't it been used, or what happened to it? What is the count? The other question is, I was here about 3 months ago, and I was talking about the pit fence having put around it. Well, apparently, just maybe 2 weeks ago, we had homeless people living in the bottom of it. And there's police reports. The police officers went there and made a move. And I would like a fence put around that, please.
I
Due
actually
to the
called
city-
police.
Before they get sued. The other thing is, I want to know, the Lennar, the subdivision, why didn't y'all let people know, the community, or people know that they backed out of the tennis court, of doing the ball, volleyball or whatever they were doing, pickleball. And I want to know, when they did Lennar, there were supposed to be street lights put up. Why hasn't anything been done about that? Houses are just there and it just looks dark. I mean, why hasn't the city pushed anything to get that done? The next thing is, so I did a little bit of review on the fireworks, the $50,000 thing you were talking about. Yeah. The city of Ocala doesn't even spend $50,000 a year on fireworks. And there are 50,000 people in that community. We are a 3,000 community. Where do you get $50,000 where you want to come out and spend our money on fireworks?
Did you come to the last budget hearing?
Yeah.
It's not 50,000.
I know, but
Okay.
I know, but he really irked my butt. He said. And I want to know why the cost adjustment of, like, the lights, the water, the sewage. Why are y'all competing against Ocala, Gainesville, stuff like that? Why are we paying these high-ass light bills and stuff? I mean, I just don't realize we're a community of 3,000 people. There's nothing here. Nothing. Why are we paying this outrageous prices like Gainesville and Ocala? Why are y'all comparing us to them? Do something about it.
Okay, definition of a cost adjustment. Who wants to do that, please? Anybody want to do that, or do I have to do it? I did it last time. I might as well do it again, right? Okay, so the cost adjustment is a charge for the production of the electricity. It comes from the company that actually produces the electricity, and it is passed along. In other words, if they make it out of coal, or they make it out of natural gas, or they make it out of nuclear energy, whatever it is, it's the cost of producing the power. And that cost has a certain level. If it's not over that level, they don't charge us a cost adjustment. They just charge us the normal kilowatt hour rate that we charge. However, if it goes over that rate, the Public Service Commission allows them to pass that overcharge across to the cities or whoever, or the county, or whoever's doing it. And we pass it along straight across to the customer. There's nothing we can do about it. We don't keep one penny of it.
But Mr. Donald made a program.
You've heard this before. You've heard here before. You're asked of these three questions. I actually told you about two of them.
Can I interrupt real quick? I'm sorry to interrupt, but I think Mr. Penny is actually not referring to the cost adjustment. I think he is referring to the rate stabilization fund.
That was the first thing he referenced.
Oh, okay.
That was the first thing he referenced. And I will say, with regard to the rate stabilization fund, it has to do with gas, not electric.
It was due to electric.
It's not. It's for gas only.
I was told it was due for electric.
It's not. So that's what the cost adjustment is. We keep none of it. We have nothing to do with it. It is passed. The Public Service Commission for the state of Florida says they can pass it through, and that's what we do.
Well, why wasn't it used?
What now?
The reserves that Mr. Donald put away.
The reserves are for gas, not for electric.
Well, why weren't they used for the high spike?
Because there's not a high spike of gas right now. Yeah, it's normally in the winter when you have a high spike of gas.
Jonathan, can you clarify about the rate stabilization plan,
So
please?
far as the rate stabilization fund, it has to reach a certain mark, and I don't remember that number. And once it reaches that certain number, then you can utilize it for what he's asking for. But it hasn't reached that mark yet, and I don't remember the number off the top of my head.
And is there one set up for electricity or gas only?
I believe there's one set for both, but neither one of them are where they need to be to utilize the money. Not yet.
Can't talk from audio. So go back to mine. I was told otherwise. I specifically asked that question. So if that's the case, they told me wrong. And that's all I can do is tell you what they told me. I've just been handed something that said the city of Ocala spent $300,000 for the drone show, and they're spending $150,000 this year for fireworks.
Ready? All right, state your name, where you're from.
Hi, my name is Shanna Church. I'm from here. I live over in the Lennar district, I guess what you want to call it, at 590 Northwest 4th Place. I have come here today to speak upon the water issue and a possible proposal of how we can fix it. So good evening, council members. Thank you for the opportunity to speak this evening. This is my first time, so a little nervous, but at the same time, I felt the call to be here. I'm here on behalf of many different concerned residents to address an issue that's persisted for what it feels like far too long. When I grew up here, it was always, don't live in the city because your electric bill is going to be super high. now, I mean, out of my $900 bill, my electric is $111. That is the lowest I've ever had. But then again, I work two jobs, and I'm hardly ever home. My father has cancer, so me and my kids, when we're done at work and school, we're taking care of him, and then we go home. So basically what I want to talk about today is the inaccuracies and unexplained spikes in the water usage and billing, which have recently reached what we feel like is an unsustainable level. Over the past several months, residents, myself included, have reported unusually high utility bills, some in electric, some in water. It really just depends on the situation for the exact resident. In some which is about hundreds of dollars of what it usually is. And some, it's up into the 1 to 2,000s. In many cases, these charges are inconsistent with historical usage patterns of the residents and cannot be explained by seasonal fluctuations or increased consumption. The issue is not isolated, as it may seem to be for those who are not familiar or for those who just have not been told by as many residents who are at home wondering how they're going to pay their bill and be able to eat food at the end of the day. It seems to be more of a broader, systematic failure that demands immediate attention. The city of Williston has estimated population of, as Joel said, over 3,000. With a median household income of approximately $59,776 for families facing utility bills of $500 total, which that was my last month, and it seems to be very, very accurate for others, that equates to about 10% of their monthly income. For families that are looking at $1,000 bills, that's over 20%. The situation is even more alarming for our senior citizens. Approximately 19% of our current population here in Williston are elderly individuals on fixed incomes. Those fixed incomes average about $2,600 a month. So when you're looking at that amount, and they're facing a possible $1,000 water bill, which I've come across myself, they're looking at spending 40% of their monthly income to just pay their utilities. That does not include much, means left over to pay for their food, medications, and other essentials. A critical factor contributing to this issue is the outdated state of our water system. Nearly half of our water meters were installed between 1946 and 1956, meaning they were upwards to 70 to 80 years old. The industry standard lifespan for water meter is up to 8 to 10 years. Continuing to rely on infrastructure that has outlived its service life by decades is not only unsustainable, it's fiscally irresponsible. Beyond billing concerns, the aging infrastructure results in substantial water loss. The city currently experiences an estimated 25% water loss annually, accounting to approximately $500,000 in lost revenue annually. That's $500,000 per year. And at this number, it will only increase if we do not act. The figure does not even account for the cost of the frequent water main breaks, the emergency repairs, and the offer that only feels temporary, such as in the individual who spoke earlier for the 4-year water in her yard and into the street. One practical and forward-looking solution is to implement the advanced metering infrastructure, the AMI system that has been brought to your attention before. A proposal that has been previously brought to your attention before to the council, and I believe the reason why you guys weren't comfortable with moving forward at the time was worrying about the system infrastructure and wanting to make sure it's not going to get hacked, which is a very, very valid concern. I used to work for an IT company myself, so I'm very familiar with a lot of different companies who have had to reach out for those things. But it's easily taken care of. The AMI technology is already in place in numerous nearby communities where it's demonstrated the following benefits: real-time monitoring of water usage for both the city and the residents, early detection of leaks and anomalies, more accurate transbilling billing.
Okay, you're 5 minutes.
Sorry.
We have another section toward the end.
Where I can finish.
You're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate your time.
I'm a terrible person. I have to comment every time. I can't just not. Again, I agree with almost everything that you said, except that we would love to have AMI, but it costs millions and millions of dollars. It's not so much that, well, it's worth it, but where are we going to get it? I can tell you that one way we get it is we get extra money when we charge your bill. That's the only way to get it. Where are we supposed to get it? We've applied for grants. We did not get them. We have, believe me, I got 2 engineers sitting right here. And they can probably give you estimates. I can't remember the estimates on the cost of the AMI, but it was not doable. We would love to have it for all the reasons that you have stated.
Well, I go with Wright Pierce, your consulting engineers. I can't comment on the AMA numbers. I don't have those in front of me. As we get on to item B, I'm going to be talking about the vulnerability assessment, but part of that is I'm going an overview of all the grants that we are working on right now, and that's going to tie into a lot of these comments. So when that comes up, I will speak more about that. And I'll stay here for this meeting for the second participation and questions come up that follow. Thank you.
It takes money. I thought, and we don't have it. That's what it amounts to. We'd love to do it. We would have done it already if we had the money. Who's next? Good.
State your name and address.
Yes, Bob O'Connell. I live at Northwest 7th Street. Councilmember, pardon me? Oh, I thought this was. So, along with many others here, I have a concern about the usage. When the last council meeting, Debra, I think you said, well, check your usage, because I'm seeing a spike. So the first 3 months of the year, we averaged around, exactly 4,333 gallons. Okay. These last 3 months are through June. We're averaging 11,100 gallons. Okay. So I'm just trying to figure out that has this been communicated as to why this is happening, or we don't know, or okay. So, anyways,
Have they checked your meter? Have you requested that they check your meter?
no, I haven't haven't put that request in yet. Can I do that right up front
yes,
here?
Yes, sir. Let's do that. Either that or give it to Mr. Bishop tonight. He can put in a work order to have your meter checked.
Okay.
Because that is a big spike. Not as much as Miss Church's. Miss Church's is ridiculous. Yeah, hers is really bad. Both 2 months in a row, hers was terrible.
Yeah. Okay. The other thing is, I've lived in a few different cities, a lot of different townships and stuff. I've always paid the utility bill directly to the utility. Utility went to the gas and electric, all went to the utility company directly. I'm just curious as to why, we're paying the city directly here for that. And I'm also curious as to, we're paying you. It's a service that you guys are doing for the utility. Do you guys get compensated for that service? Okay. I think that's all I have. Well, on the water main breaks, we had one on our street not long ago. We had one at McDonald's, last weekend. That's a cost, right? That costs, or isn't it? Okay, you're shaking your head. No, it isn't. It isn't a cost. Okay, so I'm wondering who picks up that cost. Obviously, with all these breaks and everything else, that we have to pick up the cost of the repairs. But
right, we do have to pick up the cost of the repairs, and Mr. Bishop can speak up. There is no cost for the actual water loss, but we have to report the water loss to the state. Rural water, is that what we reported to?
Yes, ma'am. It gets reported every year and gets calculated what the water loss is and what we can do to fix it. Yes, ma'am. And we're accountable for water in and water out of the wells.
and then just the billing question, and then also on the new format we have for the bills here, the usage. The old format had gallons, right? If I'm correct, right, on the water usage.
On the water, it did, yes, sir.
How many gallons you're using? Like on this one, 48.73. I mean, I'm not sure. Again, when I've lived in other, when you move into a new house, you get something from the utility, you get a you get a sheet that circles these different things with a line that kind of explains exactly what they are. But what is that calculation? 48.7, whatever.
Selena's not here, is she? She's our billing, our accounting, our billing accountant.
Yeah.
It's so much per gallon. Let me tell you, it's really cheap. I have a source for water actually I happen to own the ice house that's here in Williston, the one that's down in the intersection. And I had a farmer who contacted me about the need for water. He had an 800-gallon tank, and he needed to fill it up 5 or 6 times for some new crop that he had that he needed to water by hand. And I made a deal with him that he could get water from my location, and I would get a price from the city for how many gallons he used over my normal rate. So not any particular gallon. And I can tell you that it was so little that I didn't charge him at all.
Okay. Well, then I
mean, it was less than $10 for 1,600 gallons of water.
Okay.
And I'm a commercial rate.
Well,
even,
okay. All right.
This commercial rate is different than resident.
Yeah. I'm seeing the spike in the usage. It's just.
It is a lot.
Yeah.
Can I?
Your 5 minutes is up. You are welcome. There's another one towards the end of the session.
Okay.
So
Okay.
you can go there.
Okay. I'm looking for a question also on the billing and how that works to the city.
I'd be glad to go over the bills with you too. I've gotten pretty good at explaining them.
We're paying you guys directly as opposed to the utility.
I'll answer that actually. The city owns its own utilities, and we're not alone. There are a lot of other cities in the state of Florida and other states that own their own utilities. So there may be a city that doesn't own its electricity or doesn't own its gas, and you would pay the electric company directly or the gas company. But the city of Williston actually owns all of its own utilities. I think most, correct me if I'm wrong, but most cities own water and sewer and trash pickup, or we might contract that out because sometimes that's a less expensive way to do it. And yes, we do buy electricity, and then we do sell it, but it is a pass-through cost. There is no, am I correct? Jonathan, correct me if I'm wrong, it's a pass-through cost.
As far as the electricity, there is a revenue built on that, yes ma'am.
Yeah. And that's how we pay for our police department, fire department, roads and parks that obviously don't have any way of generating any income. That's how we generate income to pay for fire, police, roads, parks, and such. I hope that answers your question.
Sure. Yep. Thank you for your time.
Anybody else? All right, item 5, consent agenda. These are the council minutes from August 5th, 2025.
I only have one correction to make in the minutes, and that is Jane Lewis is Jan Lewis. And other than that, I would move the approval of the consent agenda with that correction.
Get a second? All right, we got a first, we got a second. Any other discussion? Seeing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? 4-0. All right, item 6, updates. Staff, board, and council updates. City Manager Sue Beaudet.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vice President. All right, first and foremost, I completely forgot to tell you guys about this at the last council meeting, but the city of Williston recently submitted a competitive Florida partnership grant in the amount of $45,000. This was through Retail Strategies. We've worked with them in the past. The goal is to develop a retail strategy and implementation plan for economic development in the areas of restaurants, grocery stores, and clothing. So wish us luck, because we would love to get this grant. And we've tried multiple times. Second, I wanted to read a letter that the city received from Central Florida Community Action Agency for the event that was held a few weekends ago. It says, Dear City of Williston, on behalf of the Board of Directors and staff of Central Florida Community Action Agency, I would like to extend our heartfelt appreciation for allowing us to host our recent health outreach and fundraising event at Heritage Park. Your generosity in making this beautiful space available played an important role in the success of our event and in helping us serve our community. We would also like to give a special note of thanks to Mr. Tom, whose guidance and hands-on support were invaluable. His help with the event setup, as well as his clear direction on the proper cleanup process, ensured that everything ran smoothly and that the park was returned to its original condition. His kindness and dedication reflect the spirit of community that makes Williston such a special place. Your continued interest and support of our programs will make the difference in the lives of the many families who seek our services. With this type of leadership and support from the community, CFCAA can continue to support those in need of our services. Please accept our deepest thanks for your continued support and generosity. Feel free to visit our website to find out more about how your donations are helping those in crisis. And of course, a special shout out to Chief Bowles for being in the dunk tank, and our HR director for being in the dunk tank, and the tax collector. Thank you, Michelle Langford, for being in the dunk tank. I think that's everybody, right? They got dunked. So it was a good event. Third, I wanted to give you an update on the animal shelter. I know Laura's not here tonight. We recently partnered with Marion Correctional Institution. That's where we get our inmate supervisor program, to give them 4 dogs from our animal shelter. Their program is called the Florida Inmates and Dog Obedience FIDO Project, which is hilarious. So we gave them 4 dogs. We pay them $150 for each dog, but they take them, and the goal is, of course, to try and adopt them out. And we were told that many of the staff members of the correctional institution actually get them themselves because they fall in love with them. So here's to hoping that they're going to be a good partnership with us. Third, I wanted to ask about the third budget workshop. We had tentatively said we were going to do a third one next Tuesday on August 26th. I'm recommending we still go through with that to discuss the city planner position and the animal shelter manager position. I did discuss today with Kathy Eba from JB Pro about doing a piggyback off of the Levy County contract with JB Pro. So that is an option, and I should have paperwork actually next Tuesday for that, if you guys are still okay with going through with the workshop next Tuesday.
We did make other changes too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're good with still having that? Okay, perfect. All right, and then I wanted to introduce or bring up for another update on the Williston Fiber Project, Hector Samario from Performance Services.
Good evening, everybody. Hector Samario with Performance Services. Great seeing some of you at the Florida League of Cities conference this past week. I thought it was a great conference. Hopefully you did. It was probably the highest attendee numbers that I've seen there in a great many years. So, Mayor, good to see you back. I know you had you went home early, but I didn't want to add that to that, though, HIPAA laws and all. But
he was trying not to say that.
But it's good to have you back. So good to see you. So just a quick update, and happy to answer questions. With me is Mike McCann, your project manager. So we'll field any questions you have, but I think this will be pretty self-explanatory. All the material has been ordered. We've received about 85% of the material is already on hand. 25% of the work is done. We're on schedule to get everything finished by December. The make ready is close to being done, so I want to shout out to Jonathan and his team for the great work that they've been doing to get everything ready for the aerial fiber. So Jonathan, thank you for that. We are waiting for 2 permits for the railroad to cross the railroad, and I know Aaron is working on the Lumen agreement to get the light to the fiber. He's very, very close to doing that, so that when we start, go through the installation, it's nice to be able to look at the very end of that fiber optic and see the light. So we're on schedule. Just a quick update on where we are with Williston RV Resort. We are currently doing the locates for all the utilities. Tomorrow we're going to have 2 crews on site doing some of the underground conduit. And as those locates get further and further along, we're going to have 5 to 6 crews installing the conduit, and then we're going to start pulling fiber sometime after that. So again, 2 crews starting tomorrow for the conduit, and as soon as the locates get further along, 5 to 6 crews will be out there. For the city, we're installing conduit for on the underground for the last 2 weeks. Aerial has been going on for the last 4 weeks, and we have 1 underground crew and 1 aerial crew working on the aerial side, the city side outside of the RV crossing. That's all I have. I'm really open to any questions you may have.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Great news.
Thank you.
Okay, staff. Please do roll. Mr. Lamar. Steve.
Yes, sir. Just going to let you know I attended the county budget workshop today. They have still not really set their millage rate yet. They're bouncing between 9 and 8.75. They are moving to raise their assessments. Fire is going from 129 to 250, and EMS is going from 154 to 250. And they have that, you know. So just giving you that heads up.
Thank you, sir, for that. Ms. Smith. Anything? Mr. Wallace. Mr. Mills. Ms. Kim. Mr. Bishop. All right.
Mr. President.
Yes, ma'am.
I have a couple of updates. So the first one is on the RFP, top of the hill. I know we've been talking about it a lot. Part of our audit from Purvis Gray was that there are some updates that they want to make to our procurement. So we're working on updating our forms and going through that process so that when we submit everything, we don't have to resend it and submit it again. So we are actively working to update our forms and our procedures for that to go out. You know I'm looking forward to it. I'm on the same wavelength. Okay, the second item update that I have, I want a little bit of guidance from you all. I know that we talked about going to our union and presenting them with a couple of changes to the certifications language in the CBA. And I think that our conversation centered around 3 categories. I think on one of the categories, I'm clear, and I just want you all's clarification that we're on the same page with certificates that have been approved by supervisors and were achieved. Those we're okay with back paying, but moving forward, we need to follow the process, or the back pay will not, or the increase will not occur. Is that I'm seeing not? Okay, so I think that I'm clear on that. The question that I have for you that I'm not clear on is when we present these potential changes, there are 4 ways that different CBAs, and I probably looked through 800 CBAs over the last 2 weeks to see how other entities do this. And there are a couple of different ways that they do. They generally have, some of them have language such as, any certificate must be a prerequisite to maintain an employee's professional, skilled craft or technical status to perform job duties in the description. So something like that just says if you absolutely have to have this certificate to keep up to task with your craft, your skill, or to fulfill your job duties, then it's an approved certificate, still goes through your supervisor. So that's one way to do it, just sort of like a general statement like that. Another way to do it is list certifications in job descriptions, and then say if it's a certification that's approved in your job description, then it's a certification that's eligible for a raise. Some do certifications listed in the CBA itself. So if it's available there, then it's an available certificate. And then those are the 3 that I found that other entities do. The last 2 require updating, so there are provisions for you all to work with the union to update. As you know, I'm positive that just like everything else, things change as years passes, and you need more certificates and that kind of thing. One of the things that you all had discussed was certain hours required to complete a course as a requirement. I didn't see that in any of the CBAs that I looked at. That doesn't mean that it doesn't exist in some. But I just wanted to see if any of those are generally more appealing to you than the others, or if you want me to present all of those and see what the union thinks.
Should read the first one again.
Yeah, so it's sort of general language, and this was just an example. Any certificates must be a prerequisite to maintain an employee's professional skilled craft or technical status to perform their job duties or description.
Only thing I would add is to obtain or maintain.
Okay.
Because we may be sending them to actually obtain a license that they need for their job, not just to maintain one they already have. That would be the only change I would think of.
So if we don't have a overwhelming preference, we can submit all of those and see what the union says about those. The first one better than any of them?
The first one doesn't need yearly updating.
That's fair.
Or revisiting.
Sure. And if we did that, we would still follow. We would still follow, unless you tell me otherwise, the same procedures that we have, which is because there is that this is general, it would get approved by their direct supervisor, and then, or I can't remember if it's the supervisor or director, but one way or the other. However it reads now, it would continue to read that it's approved and then move forward.
So would this also be part of our policy, and inside of the city policy that there would be a list that would be a known list and not an imaginary list that only the supervisors know in their head?
So that's option 2 and 3. Really is kind of what that contemplates.
We could write it as a policy and not put it in the CBA.
You could have both. The CBA would need to reference the policy if we're saying as defined in whatever the most updated policy is.
We could change our policy more easily to update, keep current, than we can change the CBA.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah, that's an option.
But then for like an incoming employee or an existing employee, there is an actual written place that they can reference which certifications they would potentially qualify for when they were hired on the job. And, okay, I'm cool with that as long as there's something where it's clearly defined which certifications generate a $1 per hour raise in writing that is uniform across the board.
Okay. All right. Well, we can absolutely do that. And you want that policy to be approved by the council, or do you want it to be approved by the city manager or the director or the supervisors?
We talked last city manager, but I thought we also talked about the council.
Since we've had the issues we've had, I think it needs to at least start with the council.
Okay, so the first policy to be adopted by the council, and then updates can be provided by the city manager.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, we can definitely present that to your union, obviously, and just to reiterate that any changes to the CBA they have to agree to. So now that I have your sort of sense on those, we will get that over to them and see what their thoughts are. Only last update. Oh, I'm so sorry.
So are we speaking of just union employees?
Correct.
Okay. Because I don't have all union employees. So I just want to make sure we're not putting a policy in place that's good over here, but tying the hands over here.
Yeah,
so,
I mean, it would
so
be
I just
an
want to
update
make
in
sure
the CBA. Yeah.
I want to make sure we keep that in mind. So, yeah. Okay, thank you.
Just for point of clarification, though, I asked all of the department heads to give me a list of what certifications are at their purview. I don't know if they're giving me a list by non-union versus union. So we may want to look at that. I didn't ask for that originally. So I've gotten quite a few, like Chief Siegel gave me his, Benton gave me his, Laura gave me hers. So I've got a list of, I'm working on that right now, but it's not broken down by union versus non-union. We can, but it just hasn't been that thus far.
Well, there are very few that are non-union.
Yeah,
Sure,
well,
the police officer. Sure.
Yeah, it would have to be broke down that way because everybody's not a union employee.
Okay.
So we're going to have two separate categories.
Okay. Got it.
And of course, the exempt employees are not.
Okay, last update, I promise. Interviews for your independent investigation were completed today. Megan and Danielle informed me that they have completed that portion. So the next portion is the report. So the report will come out. It will include backgrounds. It will include findings, and it will include recommendations. I'm just telling you exactly what Megan told me. And it will be ready, she anticipates, mid-September. When the report comes out, it will be transmitted to all the council members and the mayor and the charter officers at the same time. Those are the individuals who will receive it. Everyone will receive it in the same email. You will all be BCC'd. All right. That's it.
Thank you, ma'am. Council.
Only thing I have on my list is it's already been brought up tonight is the street lights. Have we done anything about that?
So there are several things with CLE that we are trying to resolve. We have, I don't want to give away our strategy. We have some leverage in some things that they need to either correct or sign some documentation regarding their sole liability and responsibility to correct. So we have a little bit there that we're trying to use to leverage on the streetlight things. It's a long process to go through, pulling on the bond that we have and all of those things. So we're trying to get it resolved in a way that doesn't require the city to expend money in that sort of litigation field, because I know that we got it coming at us from all angles. But I will keep you abreast of that situation. I imagine that I will probably know the resolution within the next 30 days.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mayor. Any words of wisdom for us?
Well, I do, Mr. President. This is meant to be a update. So I'm going to update. I've heard our citizens tonight talk about the AMI. And we told them, I'm well aware, our staff has tried to get AMI grants over and over and over again. They have not been able to successfully do that. We're told it's millions of dollars is why we can't have AMI. I'm told by other sources that AMI is so much more accurate that it'll save us a lot of money. Here's my problem. And for me, I can't get past it. I was trying to decide whether to just shut up and let everybody go ahead or not, and here I am. So we could not spend millions of dollars on AMI, but how many millions of dollars have we borrowed to put this fiber in when we had 3 companies that was willing to put this fiber in at no cost to our citizens? And why would we as a council, as a governing body, risk our citizens' money? We're not risking our money. We're risking our citizens' money to put this fiber in. And I am one of the people that had internet, and as a result of the city taking over fiber, no longer have internet. And I am not alone. There are many of us. So I'm going to say this very clearly. I have been admonished as the old mayor that just don't like technology. I have no problem with technology. Technology is a tool, and it should be properly used, not used for personal or manipulated for gain. I think that we have made a mistake. I'm going to stand with you. We're here now. We don't have a choice. We have borrowed the doggone money. We're heavily in debt. We already owe $1 million on our city hall, and we have fire trucks that we have had to borrow money for. And then what did we do? We took our taxpayers' money and we risked it or invested. Each one of us will have their own opinion in a venture on the hopes that maybe that we should. Those are big words. Get a lot of money in the future. And I think that we made a mistake. I said it from the beginning. I thought it was a mistake. I have no reason to change that thought process. And I will stand behind you guys. But I have been very clear, and I just wanted, as an update, I think we made a mistake. Thank you, Mr. President.
I'll go for it. I just want to clarify a few things that the mayor said. I completely respect your opinion, but there are some inaccuracies that I think that the public needs to hear. One is that we have guaranteed through performance service and invested state statute guaranteed that we will turn a profit. on our fiber. Also, because Williston fiber is here, it's a guarantee. You can look it up. It's a guarantee. Secondly, just because we have Williston fiber does not mean that other fiber companies cannot come in. They 100% can come in. Any one of them can come in and provide you with internet if you want it. So that part, I'm afraid to say, was inaccurate. And lastly, one of the reasons, and it was a heavy, heavy decision on my part, and I'm sure on the rest of the council's part, to make this investment. One of the reasons that we did was because the math is very strong that we would, and already is looking like we will be way ahead of schedule in generating income. And that income can actually help to go pay for some of the things that we all want, like fixed roads, water. We're not going to be able to pay for AMI, like not anytime in the near future, because that is a big number, but we can pay for a lot of other things once we start generating revenue. And this is going to be at the beginning, at least, and things get expensive, so I'm not guaranteeing that it's going to be $50 forever for life. But at the beginning, it is going to be less expensive than almost every other internet company out there that is going to offer to provide you internet. So you're going to get less money. You're going to get 24-hour service. You're not going to call on a Friday and say, here's something that says you're going to get an answer back on Tuesday about whether they'll get your internet in. There will be people who can respond to you 24 hours a day, pending hurricanes and all of that good fun stuff. Coming our way. So anyway, I just wanted to clarify a few of those things. It was a really heavy decision because it was a lot of money to take out on a loan, but it was guaranteed by state statute. And if anybody wants any more information about that, please circle back to the city hall at another time and we can get you the actually printed out state statute and you can read it. And it's not going anywhere, that state statute.
Mr. President, may I respond?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you. What a kind person you are, Counselor. In fact, I had to go out and get new internet because mine was destroyed by this wonderful project we have going. And it cost me $50 a month for that internet. So you may not be totally accurate, Counselor, when you say that nobody can give us internet at the cost that the city can. I've heard that mantra. I discard it. I don't agree with it. I'm not saying it's wrong. I could be wrong. However, the facts are that internet service is costing less and less. And there are more and more providers out there. And the fact is that we made this choice. And, I wonder how many state statutes guarantee Bitcoin. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Okay, I agree completely with what Ms. Martin said. Performance Services, the engineer that left, I wish he was still here. He could give you dollar amounts. And I will say that with the city, I was one of the last people to get off of the CFEC fiber wagon because I wanted them to do it as well because they were here and wanted to. But I was convinced that by staff members that with the engineer that we have, with the state statute, which is a performance bond, they did all the analysis of all the people, of how much, and they calculated how many people we had to have sign on. And I want to say it was less than 100 for the first year in order to start breaking even. And number one, we don't have to pay on this loan for 2 years until it's completely built. We don't have to pay anything back, and the interest. Then Mr. Barber was able to go to Williston Crossings. You heard him talk about that tonight, and get the entire park came and begged us for internet. So that's why they're starting in Northeast over there, and there are always 250. Remember I said 100 over here? There are always 250, but at some cases there are 450. So we are going to be 3 to 5 years ahead of the projection that he originally gave us in not only the assets but the revenues. And as Ms. Martin said, those extra revenues are in an enterprise fund, and it can be transferred into other areas to help pay for some of these things that we need. So yes, everybody said, yeah, they did it so they could make the money. Well, yeah, we did. So we won't have to raise taxes or your rates. That's exactly why we did it. You either want the internet or you don't. It's $50 a month for a gig. Gig up, gig down. You can't do a whole lot better than that. You may come with the same price, but you can't do much better than that. Here's our internet guru. He could actually tell you more than me. But the other thing I would say that I saw on social media today was that we have kept other companies from coming into the city. As Ms. Martin said, there's a state statute that says we cannot stop them. We have issued a permit for Central Florida Electric to come into one area of town, and that is the only area they asked for. They originally asked for 3 areas. They came back and submitted the permits only for 1 area, and we have granted that. So there's nothing we're doing to stop them. So there's a lot people don't know, and we'd be glad to tell you. All you got to do is ask us.
So there's a meeting, and I know it is in. Sorry, I jumped
No,
in.
you're good.
There's
I got a problem with you talking with me.
Thursday, this Thursday, and I know it is in the middle of the day, and I know that a lot of people work and that's hard, but we have also broached the subject of having another meeting that would be in the evening, a second meeting, yeah, and that's going to happen. I don't have a date yet, but that is going to happen so that those of us who work and can't really get away in the middle of the day can come and attend.
And I wish Mr. Hector was still here, because, and Aaron, maybe you can let me in. We needed fiber for the AMI's meters.
Well, it also offsets a huge cost of AMI, is the communications on the back end of AMI. And if we have our own fiber network, that saves probably a couple $1 million out of the cost of AMI, just not having the communications cost.
And I will add that one of the biggest things about Central Florida Fiber was because they didn't want to come in because they would have to use our poles. They go on poles, and they didn't want to pay us a pole tax, which is what we do in order to be able to replace poles and that sort of thing, in order to keep the poles where they need to be for them to use. So the area they have actually asked for is an area that has underground power, so they don't have to pay a pole tax, which is perfectly fine, and they do have that permit.
All right. New business. Item A. Discussion with possible action. 2026 election proposal. Supervisor of election, Tammy Jones.
Good evening. So I was here about 2 months ago, and some of you will probably hear me again, and some of you were not at the meeting for, plans you had. So if you don't mind, I'll probably go through the whole spiel again. So I've had the pleasure of working with Latricia many years now on helping with the elections in Williston. And you guys have been great. When I came to you, asked to change election dates, you guys changed the election a month from March to April. And that's worked really well. Having all the municipal elections in Levy County has worked really well. I think from our perspective, we're able to help the cities more with the calendar and getting them up and running, because there's a lot to know running elections. It isn't like it was 30 years ago. The laws are very rigorous and difficult and a lot to learn. So we do, and going back a little bit, we do train your city clerk. Latricia comes once a year to a training. We train her about qualifying and the election process and vote by mails and all that stuff. But we have realized in the last few years that we feel we could streamline the process a little bit better by providing more to you with no extra cost. So, we currently, the average cost y'all pay is $9.50. We would be willing to do this service for no additional cost, except any costs we incur, such as envelopes, ballots, things that our office incurs. We don't want the county, to eat the cost of a city election. So why am I asking this? Why am I asking to do more for, equal price? We feel like it will streamline the process. We feel like it will give voters a direct avenue who to call when they need ballots, because voters don't know if they live in the city, they have to call the city. They call us, and that's what happened this year. Williston did not have an actual regular election this year because there was not enough to qualify, or those that qualified went unopposed. But we found in the people that did have elections, all the ballots expired on December 31st of every general election. So we had to hurry up and get all the city voters a notice saying, hey, if you want to up your vote by mail for the upcoming city election, you need to get your requests into us. So we tried helping the cities generate those requests quicker. And then there was a little bit of confusion about, getting that to the cities, and we're having to hand that over to the cities, all that delicate information with PII information. And it's just tough because the cities have a lot of turnover. So we're always training and more training. And unless you've done an election, it's tough to explain how complicated the process can be. So that's why we want to help you, because we are the election professionals. When I say, I'm not saying I'm saying we, as my team of people that work in my office, that's what we do for a living. We do elections. Your city clerk has a lot of other duties besides elections. We are not alone. Levy County is asking for all the cities to join in and has conduct the elections. Our neighboring county, Marion County, Wesley Wilcox, conducts every municipal election in Marion County. Pasco County conducts every municipal election in Pasco County. That's just to name two. I believe Gilchrist County does. I'm not sure about Citrus. I didn't do my homework. And I know Gainesville, Alachua County does the city of Gainesville. Their supervisor election does that. So it's not unheard of for a supervisor elections to have an interlocal agreement with the municipalities to help with the elections. I just want to remind you too that last year there popped up a special election, and we were willing to put the city candidates on our primary ballot, which saved the city all the money. We didn't charge the city anything to do that because there was really no extra cost involved. Ultimately, to be honest, the goal one day, it might be 5-10 years from now, is to get the cities on our August election and our November election, where it won't cost you hardly anything. But I don't want to jump in the water too deep and drown. I want to slowly progress with this, meaning I want to try doing the cities first before I jump in and just put all the cities on the ballot, because it is tough. There's a lot of programming. You got to make sure the right ballot's being given to the voter that walks in, because then you have a layer of different style ballots. Instead of 3 ballots in a primary, you have 6 here at City Hall to give voters. You have to trust the poll workers give the voter the right ballot, So in saying that, I don't want to jump all the way in the water yet. I want to try this out for a year. All I'm asking is for this agreement for 1 year. Give me 1 year to prove that we can do this. And then it's renewable once a year after that. So every year you would just renew it with a simple agreement saying we agree to renew it for 2027. The next year we agree to renew it for 28. So that's what I am asking. There is give and take. So I know the last meeting we talked about what you won't like about this. What you won't like, and I'll just be clear, is that election night results will not be here at City Hall. They will be treated almost like a county election, where the poll workers will drive back the special equipment to upload the results, and the results will be released in Bronson. However, we will still be having website results. We will have Facebook results. So we will have results available. If you want to have a watch party, you can still go to this room, set up TVs, put up the website. You have all this technology in here. And you could have, candidates come over here, because we'll have the voting finishing up over here. We won't want to have people going in there yet, but you could always have a watch party. The county did that in the primary. So the now county manager, a commissioner, really wanted to bring that back to Levy counties, have the watch party. And our staff just was so short-staffed, it was really difficult for us. So I said to her, why don't y'all put it on and we'll give you the website link for the scrolling results. And it was very successful. So the watch party could be up to y'all to have. So that would alleviate that issue of, man, we really like the results here, And but it will help us a lot, because it's tough for me to manage we have 8 municipalities and we have 1 special water district in Cedar Key, water and sewer. So to manage off-site those different areas, it makes it difficult. So by merging all the cities to one day and allowing me the opportunity to hire a canvassing board, which would be more likely myself, a county commissioner, and the judge, would have 1 canvassing board. So we would be to canvass everything all together, and we would do that ahead of time. We had a nightmare in Cedar Key because they had 2 elections, and they had about 300 absentee ballots for each election, and they wait till election night, like y'all do, to open up your vote by mails. It takes an hour or so just to slice open the ballot and stick it through the machine. Even for a small little election, it takes hours. So, it's 10 o'clock at night, and people are like, well, what's going on? The county elections are done by 8 o'clock. Well, it's because you're doing the manual labor that night. We would have an open canvassing board meeting. We'd let your candidates know about it and the public, and we would open those ballots ahead of time, except the ones we receive election day. Obviously, they would be open election night. So it's already in my mind that it's going to work great. I'd like for you to give me a try. If you aren't happy with it, you may not even have election next year. I mean, not everybody wants to run for office. So it's possible we could sign this agreement and you have no election and there's 0 cost to you, so but I don't know if you had a chance to look at the agreement. So I did send you 25 agreement and then 26's agreement, so you can kind of see the differences. And I just want to say one more thing, and I'll let you ask questions. We are moving forward in every single city in Levy County, except I did not ask Fannin Springs because they are in a unique situation. They have 2 counties, so I can't do their election for them because they're partial Gilchrist and partial Levy. So Fanning was out of the question. I didn't even ask them. The only other city that has not done an official agreement to move forward is Bronson, and that's only because they don't have elections next year. I haven't gone back to them. I did the initial talk with them. They were on board, but I probably will not going to get back to them until later this year or early next year, about 2028. 7. I forget what year it is. 7. So they'll have elections in 7. So pretty much Yankeetown, Inglis, Cedar Key, Chiefland, Otter Creek, and the Cedar Key Water Sewer all on board. So we just need you guys.
I know Latricia works hard at that, doing that. This would just ease up things as far as for her. I like it. I mean, if we're going to do it year after year, why not? Let's go ahead and try it and do it. All the onus is on you and your employees.
Yeah, it's pretty, in the agreement I worked really hard just to make it very understandable on what Latricia's job would still be and what my job would be. So, it's pretty clear what her duties would still be, because she still was going to have to qualify people. And I have a training already scheduled in November for her to come in, and we'll go over all the paperwork, make sure, she understands all that. And I do that not because she's not capable. It's just because the election laws are they change all the time too. We go Form 6, now it's a Form 1, back to Form 6, and we're still in legislation, I might go back to Form 6, so I can keep her abreast of the laws by bringing in all the municipal clerks at one time. We train them all at the same time. So, in saying that too, I'm looking at Ms. Kiersten, one of the attorneys is the attorney for 4 of the municipalities, and they are doing this change through ordinance. So that's good news. I don't believe, I'm not the attorney for Williston, but I can give you the Cedar Key ordinance that's being read tonight. They're doing their first reading in Cedar Key tonight. And they're scheduled first readings in all the other cities to come up. So they feel like, because most of the talk about how to conduct an election is in ordinances, that attorney, and you might have a different opinion, and that's fine if you do, they feel like the changes can be done in the ordinance and not through charter, which is good news. If that's the case. I don't know if you've had a chance to look at that, Ms. Kiersten.
I think that I generally agree. There are differences in charters,
yes.
So I think that's my only hold up, is that I need to confirm with all of the provisions. Our ordinances generally have most of our information regarding elections, only a little bit.
When I pulled the charter up before I came tonight, I want to make sure I was a little bit prepared than I was last time. So it talks about ordinance number 472, but the only thing I could find was ordinance 473. So that was from 2004, I think. Yeah, 2004. And then, of course, there was the one in 2000 recent that y'all did, but that was based off of election dates / y'all were concerned about special elections and the whole not filling seats when qualifying came around. So it's tough because I went to Municode looking at the charter, and it's hard to see what's imprinted that's actual charter versus what's ordinance. Mm-hmm. So that's where I kind of had a tough time, deciding, like, is this charter or is this not? Is this in, So,
based on my initial review, I don't believe we'd need to have a charter change in order to implement this. But I will be, obviously, before we implement anything, going back over it.
Tell you that
so what the other cities did when I came is they basically agreed for the attorney to research and, if possible, found out that it was just the ordinance, to come back with the ordinance. Because we are on somewhat of a time crunch, I would like to know where I stand by January 1st. So the good news is you guys meet twice a month. So it's a little easier for y'all because you meet more than some cities that only meet once a month. So we're still in a good time frame. But I do want to get the ball rolling because we're already in August. I can't believe it. So if we were to come back in a month, then it'd be in September. Then you have to have a first reading, a second reading, so we were pushing the envelope on a time frame. So that's all I'm going to say, and I'll answer any questions you have. So,
to that last point, if you all want to move forward with this, I can certainly verify and positive I could have something.
I did look at the charter before I came, honestly, because I thought that the canvassing board was named by position in there, but it is not. I couldn't find it in there. I thought that it was named. Thought it was police chief, certain city clerk. Certain
I think it was just tradition. Yeah,
it is definitely tradition, but I thought that it was named, and I could not find it. I did not see anything about where results are posted, of course. And I can tell you hit the nail on the head. Those are the two things that I don't particularly like.
And if anybody doesn't like that the results aren't here, remember on the door the poll workers put the election day results on the door. So, and anybody can come in the actual polling place. We don't prefer it, but it is legal. If somebody wanted to come in after the polls closed and the last voters left, they could come in to observe the close-in. If they patiently waited for that tape, I don't want to rush poll workers because they have numbers they have to write down, and I don't want somebody to come in and think they're going to get the tape right away. They're going to have to wait till the poll workers analyze the data. They got to do a ballot counting for them, but we would definitely, be happy to let them take a picture of it, or,
And I have observed that before, but we have the canvassing board here.
Right.
When we observe that.
Right.
That will definitely be a difference.
And remember, though, I did this special election last year, and it was done in Bronson. We even had a recount for y'all. Didn't charge a nickel. We had to spend a whole Saturday recounting Williston's ballots. No. Luckily, there was a county commission race, too. But we did sit and recount every single Williston.
They were both very close.
And it didn't change the vote count. 2 votes difference. Yeah.
Before y'all decide, Tammy, you said after a while I won't be able to use your equipment, correct? It's going to make it hard for you to bring the equipment to us if everybody else is having you all.
It would be harder to support.
Yes.
Election night if the canvassing board was here, and I got my canvassing board over there dealing with all the other municipalities. So if you had a last minute question, of course I would help by phone, but I couldn't be on site election night if you chose not to go this path. So I can be better support if I can manage it more like a county election. And I know
Correct.
You're your own entity, and I don't want you to think I'm forcing you into something, but I just want to try it for a year, and if it didn't work out, then we could all go happy ways and go back to the way it was,
So if you all would like to move forward, I would just need to know that you want me to bring back an ordinance.
I make a motion we approve or have you bring forward an ordinance to approve the 2026 election.
Second.
All right, we have a first. We got a second. Any other discussions? All right. We'll move to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? Congratulations.
Thank you. I appreciate the trust you've given to me for this, and I will try to do my best to make you proud. So, did you want a copy of the ordinance for Cedar Key, by any chance?
That would be great.
Okay.
All right. Item B, Resolution 2025-90. The resolution of the City Council of the City of Williston, Florida, approving the vulnerability proposal from Wright, authorizing appropriate parties to execute such proposal on the behalf of the City of Williston and providing an effective date.
Sorry.
Well, there's our problem.
Yeah, that mic is bad.
What?
Yeah, Mr. Eckert had the same problem. It's just the mic.
Sorry about that. Walt Nickel with Wright Pierce, your consulting engineers. We have a proposal to you for the vulnerability assessment grant that we're going to be applying for and then conducting. This is one small part of a large list of grants that we're going after right now. And I do intend to come back at your next meeting with a bunch of similar proposals, and one of them needs definitely your input on floodplain analysis. So just kind of giving a request to be on the agenda for your next month, and there'll be quite a list of items. But I'm going to kind of touch on that today because it's all tied to this. Vulnerability is one part of it, so it's hard to just talk about one. Okay, thank you. Is it okay that I pass some? These were really I put together as my notes, and I put them together in a memo today just to keep all these grants and how this ties into everything that's going on, and it ties in a lot of the questions I think that you got from residents today. And so I'm going to pass this out. So first off, I am going to go right into the resolution that we have before you is the FDEP Resilient Florida Program Planning Grants for a Vulnerability Assessment. This is a required assessment that DEP is asking communities, cities and counties to develop as the first step to getting additional grant money. And pretty much they're funding 100% of the work you need to do on this. So we are, our proposal outlines there is a first cost of us to apply for the grant, to do the paperwork and provide all the backup information, and that's the part one, the grant application. If you get the grant, which these are almost, I don't want to say guaranteed, but they are almost guaranteed. You apply for these, they're funding these. Then we would be doing the actual vulnerability assessment. And we can get into it. They have a step-by-step process that you have to do. You have to develop a steering committee. You have to have public hearings. You look at what are your vulnerable infrastructure, any types of facilities, and you quantify them. You look at flooding sources. Not being a coastal community, you still have vulnerability from climate change, sea level rise. It occurs in increased rainfall, increased storm frequencies and severity of them. So we look at that, we do an analysis of that, what happens in year 2030 and 2070. They have a prescribed process that you do, and you do this report and you submit this to DEP. It gets part of your LMS also, that report comes part of it. So it is a necessity that you do, and then they're going to be funding this 100%. So if we didn't get the grant, which is highly unlikely, there's a $8,500 that initial task for us to apply. But again, they're almost guaranteed. So you do that, and then this opens up a variety of grants to go to construction to ask money to improve stormwater related problems that you're having here. So this is kind of step one that you need to do to open up other grant opportunities in the future.
Sorry.
Look over.
Thank you.
And that's a count. It's statewide, but each county, you have a list of projects and hazards and things like that that you have. This will be part of that. That is outlined in the proposal if you do have that. So anyway, we're coming before you to authorize this, and this is, again, one step. What I just passed out to you, and I don't want to go into, there's 5 pages, but I do want to kind of just go over in general. You've heard me talk about some of these things before, but item 1 on there are current and active /1 grants or loans. So I just want to give you an idea what you have open right now of new grants. This was applied for about a year and a half ago. Safe Streets for All. This is a U.S. DOT FHWA grant, very similar to the vulnerability assessment, where they want communities to do a Safe Streets for All analysis of your transportation, cars, pedestrians, bicycles, everything. We applied for that about a year and a half ago. You had won it, and then it kind of went in a limbo with the agreements. They all got pulled, I think in November, December. We were getting ready to bring to you the executed agreements, and they pulled them. And the program went on hold. And they have since reinitiated it. You still won. I've been back and forth with them, getting the additional paperwork and district questions. They have all the information now. They expect to send an agreement for you to execute and review this fall. And then money would be coming available. So that is one thing you've won already. That is another one where they're paying $53,000. There is a $38,000 city participation, but that can be in-kind services too. And as part of that, we're going to have to talk with your police, fire, with Kiersten. Some of that time could be part of your in-kind services, so it's not necessarily a cash outlay. But you're going to get a full grant coming up, an agreement this fall that you will review and have all the terms and conditions. But that one is just waiting to happen. So it's back on, it's funded, and it's going. And then I think you're all aware of the Swift Mud SRF feasibility plan that we're doing right now for the sanitary infrastructure. That is a loan with principal forgiveness. That is one that was won and in progress. So you have 2 active loans / grants right now. Recent grant applications. Now I came to you in June and I did a presentation, FDEP State Revolving Fund Assistance for Utilities Impacted by Hurricanes Helene and Milton. This was a grant that came out that we didn't think the city was really eligible. You didn't have severe damage from the hurricanes here. But as the grant window came closer and closer, they were opening up and encouraging communities, because you could also do preventive work for other hurricanes and so forth. So they encouraged people. And this is the one, I think in 2.5 days, we put together 2 grant applications, totaling between the two $55 million. It was a big ask. We're not expecting to get all that, but we're expecting to get some of that. They were supposed to have one of their first meetings August 20th. Tomorrow, it got postponed due to the sheer number of applications that they got. So unfortunately, there's a lot of people going after this, but there is a large pool of money available. But in this, so this is the one we've already applied for. The process is going on. We'll know more and more in the next couple months. In the Clean Water Program, that's your drinking water projects. And we put in 4 under that, there were 7 water main projects that we applied for, both for the design and the construction. And in that included the area that we're talking about today at Southeast 2nd Street and Southeast 4th Avenue. That whole quadrant, the whole area over there has very aging pipes. They do not have valves where we can isolate quadrants of the city. utility staff is working with joints that they can't get parts for to repair. So it needs to be a bigger repair than just coming to one area. It's not that simple. The parts aren't available. It's old. And so we do need to look at it more of a regional repair. And this grant, we've included that project in there. So that is one of them. And there are many of those. We have additional seven water main projects that we put in for a grant to help the problems that you're hearing today, just in potable water. So that is in progress, and we're waiting results. That same grant had the partnership, had that was the drinking water program, the clean water program had a variety of projects. And those were some, the list here, excuse me. You have some drainage problems on Northwest 7th Street. You've had residents come across from Countryland Estates. We've talked with the residents. We've looked at different options. That project was included in that grant back in May and June that we applied for. We've applied for other ones, FEMA's, that we were in the running for, but the funding got cut, so we lost that. So that one is back again. You've got some other projects that people have come before you. They weren't in this grant at the time, but the vulnerability assessment that we're doing is going to open up grant windows where we can look at Southeast First, Southwest First Avenue. Those are two areas. Northeast Second has flooding problems. Northwest Place. The vulnerability study opens up opportunities for money to fix those. So anyway, that one, we're waiting for. That's item 2. We're waiting for the results on that. Item 3, applications currently being pursued. And this, I don't want to go, I can spend a lot of time, but I will be back next meeting. There are 2 USDA low-interest, long-term loans that are available right now. And we've had discussions with USDA on that. And there's a purchase program where we are looking to apply for a fire truck purchase, an auger truck purchase for Public Works, and a vacuum truck for the Water Department. So we are applying for that, putting all the paperwork together right now. And again, that would come back to you if you're awarded that with all the terms and conditions and what it is for you to say yes or no. Right now, we're doing the ask. And that's a very favorable problem. It has a lot of strings attached. There's a lot of paperwork that come with USDA RD loans, a lot even just to apply. Sue's been asking me for weeks, where are we on this? Where are we on this? We're working on it. We'll be presenting that to you here at the next meeting. But that one we're going after on the purchase program, and then under the long-term loan program, we're going after 2, possibly 3 projects, and that is the Curl Lift Station 16 abandonment. We've been trying to find funds to abandon that lift station. It can be abandoned, but it needs it's about a $260,000 by the time we get to these grants. I think it's a $300,000 project that the city just didn't have the funds for. That is being requested under that. The Homestead lift station needs to be replaced. That's another one that's really in bad shape. That's being replaced, asked for. And then we have an opportunity because they do look for economic development. The Block 12 parking lot is got an area. Utilities will be run to it. A building pad area will be ready to go where you can bring in like a modular restroom is what we've all envisioned there, and getting funds to bring a restroom there. So once the parking lot's all done, you have an opportunity to have a public restroom there too on the outside, right next to the Fireman's Park. So that's in a current application that we're doing right now. This one does not have a deadline. It's a rolling deadline. It's when you apply, they evaluate. And so that one, but you're going to be seeing that come to you before you. So that's item 3.1. 3.2, okay, 3.1 is the purchase of the equipment. 3.2 is the lift stations that I talked about. Item 3.3 is the vulnerability assessment that I already talked about. So once we get that opens the door for stormwater projects. Item 3.5, I have a numbering here, is the FDEP Water Restoration Grants Fiscal Year 25-26 Springs Restoration Grants. We applied for this last year, and we applied for 3 grants Two were septic to sewer areas, so the area in the northeast 9th area, and the last page of the figure has all the different areas. It's area 1. We applied for a grant to bring in sanitary sewers, and then to get people off septic. You have nitrogen removal BMAP requirements that you are mandated to meet. This is going to help you get there. That's one of them. The other one is what we call area 2 and 3, and that's up here northwest northeast quadrant of the city and northwest. That's another one that we're asking for. We applied a year ago, and we asked a big ask. We asked for the engineering and the construction. We got told we asked for too much. We're applying again. We are just asking for the engineering so we can design it, and that gets you in a position what they refer to as shovel ready. If you can say when you apply for the next grant that you are shovel ready, you got a way better chance of getting the grant. So we were asking for design and construction. Now we're asking, in pretty much all of these, we're asking for the cost to pay for the design so that you are shovel ready. And so that we're going to ask again for areas 1 and areas 2 and 3 for septic to sewer. That's going to help you meet your BMAP needs. The companion project with that is this wastewater treatment plant, because now we're bringing in more customers. You're going to need an upgrade. It's going to push you over the limit, and we're asking, I think that ask is $23 million to upgrade the capacity of your wastewater plant. It's not for growth. It's to get people off septic and to get rid of the nitrogen that's getting into the groundwater. So we're doing that. That one is due September 1st. We're working on that. That is nearly complete, the reapplication on that. And so that will be going in here in the next couple of days. I would like to run this through SwiftMud next week. That was one of the things they said, if we can do that, give them a draft of it, because they can kind of help steer this project. So anyway, we're applying for that. That's going to help you with your mandates that you need to do for the BMAP and growth. There is another project that a grant came out. It's due September 5th. It's the Florida Commerce Rural Infrastructure Fund, or RIF. And, you know, they all have guidelines and kind of guardrails of what the project should be. And the best we could find that could fit this is your Main Street Master Plan that was recently adopted. The south portion of that, South Main Street, needs stormwater improvements in that. And so we're applying for the RIF grant because that is both economic development. It checks that box for economic development. Plus, the way we've written our grant, we're saying the solution, I mean, it's going to provide stormwater improvements for all the new work that could be there in your master plan, additional stormwater retention, and there's a bunch of different techniques that we're looking at. But in our proposal that we're saying to them, we could also see a regional stormwater improvement for that whole area, that drainage basin. And that does, in fact, include Southeast 1st Street, Southwest 1st Street is in that. So by applying for the RIF grant for your South Main Street, that also gives us an opportunity to possibly fix some other stormwater projects that are in the area. That one's due September 5th, and we're working on that. And then the 3.7, this one is where next meeting I want to do a very kind of detailed explanation of what this is. This is a cooperative funding initiative through SwiftMud to adopt, we call it the Jones-Edmonds flood areas, into FEMA floodplains. And I'll just give you a short synopsis or an overview of what that is. Back in 2016, 2017, SwiftMud hired Jones-Edmonds on the behalf of the city to conduct various stormwater studies. And there were 4 detailed reports that were done. They finished this up in 2018, and they presented to the city at that time areas that they predicted that you were having stormwater problems and flooding. And at that time, I wasn't here and associated with the city at that point. The city chose not to do anything with that. And you know what the ask was to take these flood areas and have them adopted as official FEMA flood zones. The concern at the time, I've been told, was it could cost or would cost people flood insurance costs. They would be mandated to have flood insurance. Yes, but anybody can get flood insurance now, but if you're in a FEMA floodplain, you're getting subsidized insurance. So people right now, we're showing areas in that study, which was a very good study. And full disclosure, I worked for Jones Edmonds when that was done, but I didn't do the study. I was involved in it. But it is a good study. But by not adopting it, people are in areas where we see our flood hazards. But then they could get it privately completely, but they'll pay more. But what we want to present to you, SwiftMud right now has a grant available that is due October 3rd, specifically that when we talked to them about this, that would fund that. So then we would take that study. It needs to be updated. It was 2018. It's getting old. Update the study and then go through the FEMA process of getting that adopted. And then the floodplains would become official floodplains. And again, I have a presentation I'm putting together. I have a map of what the official FEMA floodplain maps are in Williston, and you can count them on your hand, fingers of one hand. The new map will have dozens. There are a lot of what we call isolated bowls, and some of the areas that we're talking about on a regular basis are in there. And so that getting them adopted allows the people, one, it informs them, somebody buys a new house or moving in, gets a mortgage, all that gets flagged. They know that there's an issue there, and they can get insurance if they choose to go. But that is something you need to choose right now. Levy County, it's in the newspaper now, is going through it in East Bronson, and people are objecting. So before we go after and ask for this one, I want to inform you a little bit more in the next time to lay out the pros and cons of going after that. As an engineer, it's my recommendation that you go it, but you have other things that you need to answer to here as a community. But I will present that more. But that is another one that we're working on, what it's going to be to do that. With SwiftMud, there is often a slight cost share. John Henry Park, you had a 25%. I don't know if they'll waive that yet at this point, but we're in discussions with them to see if they can do that. You are already community, so there are options that you don't have to do that. I can't tell you that today yet, but we're going after that. And but again, that will help you with some of the stormwater issues that you're having. And then there was another grant that is out there right now. It's item 4 on page 3 of 5 that I labeled that we don't think is winnable. And it's the Florida Commerce Rebuild Florida 2023-24 Storms Infrastructure Repair Program, also referred to as the Florida Commerce CDBG DR program. It's another version of CDBG grant that they've made money available right now. They have to be directly tied to the hurricanes with actual failures and problems. We are having a very difficult time right now finding projects that we feel are strong enough. We had initially thought lift station generators could be asked for. I'm not ruling this out yet, but it is due September 29th. But right now, it's just not looking like these are going to be viable. But generators at all your lift stations would be one ask. Generators at your water wells at the water plants. And then there are the host of stormwater projects. It's just they're not meeting the full criteria that they're asking for, but the Northwest 7th Street drainage that we're having across the country and the States, Northwest 5th Place, Southeast 1st Avenue, Southwest 1st Avenue, and Northeast 2nd Avenue. We had hoped that there's still income requirements that they're looking for. You don't get all the points. The generators in the water benefit the entire city, so those are a little bit stronger. The other projects are isolated. So we don't think we can apply. I don't think it's worth your effort to apply this round. It's out there. We've been getting notices, but it probably isn't. So anyway, I've talked a lot. These are all the things we've been working on for the past couple weeks. There's a lot. The windows all opened up at the same time. We have to apply for these now. We're doing the backup. Most of these things in this ask, pretty much most of them, it really is that first step to cover the engineering on it, not the construction dollars. So we're going to take step 1. And ideally you win these, we get these shovel ready, and then The subsequent grants, you have the designs, and then you can ask for the construction, the implementation. So that's what we're doing. I will come back to you with similar proposals that we had for the vulnerability here in September before these things come due. But again, I do want to talk more about the floodplain adoption because there's a lot of information you need to know and understand, and I'll try to map that out for you as best I can. Okay. Got a little off track from the vulnerability, but it's all tied together. It really is. This is just one part of multiple things. And, there are opportunities to help you fund some of the problems you're having, both for water, stormwater, the Safe Streets for All is going to help with some roads too, and infrastructure.
When we get grants, just so to let everybody know, what's the average time it takes once it's been approved that it comes to the city? Just so everybody knows it.
Safe Streets for All, like I said, a year and a half ago, we applied. We found out 6 months afterwards that it was that, and then we went back and forth for 6-9 months on contracts, and then it died, and then it came back 4 months later. I mean, I bet it's a 2-year process for that one. John Henry Park. So John Henry Park, you got a Swift Mud grant for $722,000 early on. Back in 2021. We bid the project out, costs went through the roof. We didn't get any bidders. We rebid it several times. We tried to find different things. We did value engineering to get costs down. We couldn't really get the cost down. We bid it again. We had a bidder, but it was still $850,000 short. We applied to FEMA for a grant. We were shovel ready. We had a contract. We got that in about 3 months. So, but you were positioned. They had the money and you were ready to go and you had a need, and we said, give us the money and we're going to start construction in 2 months. And they gave you the money. So we can go from 2 years to we've had one that went in a couple months. So they do take time. The Safe Streets for All, they're saying, yeah, we'll get the contract here in fall. We should be able to start in December on that. They're saying that. The Swift Mud program that would do the floodplain mapping, the applications close in October. They're saying spring of that following year you should have agreements and know. So it can take 6 months on average if you want an average, but they've been all across the board. Thank you.
Questions?
Can I make a motion we approve resolution 2025?
Second motion. All right, we have a first, we got a second. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none, we're going to move to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? All right, it's 4-0. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Wall. All right. Item C, Resolution 2025-89. A resolution of the City Council of the City of Williston, Florida, approving the directive confirmation and addendum between Florida Gas Utility and the City of Williston, authorizing appropriate parties to execute such directive confirmation and addendum on behalf of the City of Williston and provide an effective date. Who we got?
Mr. President, I will hand it over to Mr. Bishop in just a moment, but this is very similar to the directive and addendum that you saw. I can't remember if it was your last meeting or the meeting before. These are coming up pretty frequently and regularly, so if you do not want these to be walked onto your agenda as frequently as they are, you do have the option to designate someone to execute these on your behalf. There's just not a specific designation. in your general FGU contract. So you're welcome to add to the resolution a designation of some other individual, whether it be the city manager or the utility director, to approve these. And then I'll let Jonathan explain what this is.
I lost my notes, but so simply put is it's a way to save money, and the time frame for that is at such a small margin that time we advertise and get permission, the margin's already left. And so my vote would be for the city manager, whomever that may be at the time.
It's the purchasing of the decatherms for the natural gas, right?
Yes, ma'am. I'm sorry. I just assumed everybody knew. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Sorry about that.
I mean, it was on the desk, so we've had to read it while we were here. So repricing and prepaid gas supply. And like Kiersten said, it's just a repeat of what we've done before to try to save money so that we get
Absolutely.
We're hedging. We're
Yes,
hedging the dollar amount so
Absolutely.
that we can get it
But
for less.
yes, ma'am. But like I say, time we do the advertising, the agenda meeting, get permission, the issue's already resolved itself, so we'll lose.
Yep.
You would not like to have this as a responsibility.
If that's the wish of the council, I just think the city manager would be a better choice. But yes, if it's with the wish of the council, I'm okay with it also.
Right.
I make a motion to approve resolution 2025-89 and we have the
I second, and my
Can they vote to it? Or does it just have to be one person?
I would just designate one person to do these, just so that there's not confusion regarding who to send them to.
Right.
Just from a logistical perspective.
Yeah.
So just to clarify, we've already approved the hedging. This is just sort of double permission in many ways of the minutia of what we are hedging to try and save money, correct?
Yes, ma'am, absolutely. It just shortens the time frame so we can utilize it better and quicker.
So there are parameters that are established how
Absolutely.
much can be
Yes, ma'am.
changed. Okay. Then
And none of that has changed in any way, shape, or form. No, ma'am.
then I'm comfortable with the motion as it stands. That I seconded. So. Okay. Sorry.
I will say that I'm probably going to vote no, but I'm going to do it because I want to know about it in advance, not because I'm against it. Because I think the hedging is what we need to be doing.
All right.
Can we, at a minimum, maybe just be kept in the loop so that we don't lose our window of time, as you've mentioned, but that we also, as council, are kept updated on what decisions have been made and some sort of.
Absolutely. One suggestion might be, with Kiersten's blessing, of course, that we could email the council. Obviously, not break the sunshine law. I get it, right? And let everybody know what's going on at that point. And then if there's an issue, then council could contact us individually to stay away from the sunshine. We can go that way if that's okay with Kiersten.
Yeah, I mean, you absolutely can request that staff provide you updates on these, just like any other thing. We can also have them on your consent agendas after they've been executed. That's an option. I think that the only reason that I made the suggestion is because they are time sensitive, which is why they keep coming onto the dais and they don't make the agenda, because they happen between agenda deadline and meeting. So they really are quite time sensitive, which is my only.
But bring it to the council. Maybe we need every.
Sure, and a lot of those times have 24 to 72 hour windows. Sometimes shorter. They don't know before then. But like I say, with Kiersten's blessing, we could do a all-encompassing notice with a no reply to
Yeah, we
the
can send these
email,
out to you.
and then it's up to the council to reply separately if they so choose.
All right, so we have a first, we got a second. Any other discussion? All right, seeing none, we're going to move to vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Aye. 3-1. All right. Item D. Discussion with possible action. CPI increase for solid waste and recycling with GFL. City Manager Sue Beaudet.
Thank you very much. All right, I think we first had this on the agenda 2 meetings ago regarding the CPI increase with GFL, and I actually asked Kevin Smith, the general manager, to come and speak to it specifically to answer any questions regarding it. Come on up, Kevin.
Good evening, Council. Yes, as a part of 10.2, a part of our contractual agreement, it came that time of the year to where we can, adjust the rate per the CPI per our contract. We use the Bureau of Labor of Statistical Data to be able to run that percentage margin. Last year it was 4.7%. This year it is 4.37. However, it is GFL's approach to, instead of it being 4.37, for that to be a 3.5% lower than what the labor statistical data gives us.
Perfect.
A little good news.
I make a motion that we approve. Oh, discussion with possible action.
Yes.
It just is an increase in the contract. We just wanted to come back and explain why the number what it was.
Or just consensus?
Really just sort of an update to you all. You don't have to. It's an automatic CPI increase. This is just to explain to you the numbers.
We'll smile about it.
I would say that your guys do a good job getting the trash picked up. I know there's stuff once here or there, but ever, for the most part, seeing they do a good job.
And, if I could just speak, I do apologize. We used to have a municipal manager that kind of spent more time at these council meetings. Right now, that delegation is on the general managers, so I do want to apologize to the resident and also to the board. You will see more of my face. I'll be here for the first Friday night football game against Chiefland. So, yeah, that's it.
I don't know that we want to see it.
Yes, ma'am. So again, I just wanted to take the time to say we really do appreciate the opportunity to service the community. And yes, sir, we're not perfect, but anything that we can do better, please just let me know.
Anytime that I've called because there's been an issue, you guys have been right on it. That's to take care of it. So,
thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
all right. Item E, Resolution 2025-86, a resolution of the City Council of Williston, Florida, terminating the interlocal agreement between the City of Williston and the Town of Bronson for animal control services, authorizing the City Manager to serve notice of termination on the Town of Bronson per agreement terms and provide an effective date. City Manager Sue Beaudet.
Thank you very much. All right, so again, this came before the council, I believe, at the last council meeting. And, of course, everybody knows that we have the interlocal agreement with the Town of Bronson for animal control that I believe was signed January of last year, if I'm not mistaken. And Laura had advised that, unfortunately, we seem to always be full in our animal shelter with dogs, many of which come from the Town of Bronson. So this is to basically execute our right to terminate the contract so that we can just concentrate our animal control in the city of Williston.
Okay. Council?
Move approval of resolution 2025-86.
We have a first, we got a second. Any other discussion? Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? 4-0. All right. Item F, Resolution 2025-87, resolution of the City Council of the City of Williston, Florida, approving to amend to Section 21-01 of the Human Resources Policy regarding annual leave, authorizing appropriate parties to sign any documents required to effectuate the same on behalf of the City of Williston and providing an effective date. City Attorney Kiersten.
So you all had asked at I can't remember again if it was the last meeting or the meeting before last. I feel like we discussed a lot of the same topics, so I'm not sure where we discussed this one. But you had decided on the change as outlined in Exhibit A to your HR policy regarding police officers and their maximum hours, as we've been discussing the 288. Does that work for police? Maybe it doesn't. And so you had asked for 350 hours to be the new number for police officers. So this is just that amendment. I've underlined additions and strucken out deletions so you know exactly what's being taken out and put in. And happy to answer any questions. I know that the exhibit, nothing has changed of the year, hours accrued per week. It is formatted kind of wonky.
Oh, yeah.
But nothing will change anywhere in there.
It's really
just
the
the
only
things,
caveat was make it so we could find it.
just the things that are underlined or strucken out would be the changes. So I'm happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
I make a motion that we approve resolution 2025-87.
Second.
We have a first, we got a second, we got any discussion? All right. Hearing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? 4-0. Item 6, Resolution 2025-88, resolution of the City Council of the City of Williston, Florida, approving the interlocal agreement for fire inspector service between the City of Williston and the City of Cedar Key, authorizing the appropriate parties to sign any documents required to execute such an agreement on behalf of the City of Williston and provide an effective date. Fire Chief Lamar Stevens.
Yes, sir. What you have before you tonight is a contract with the City of Cedar Key. They have been contracting with Dixie County for the last few years to provide that. That service is no longer available. They reached out to us and asked us to help. We went down and done a few fire inspections for them, and they'd like the contract for us to do their fire plan reviews and inspections.
Questions?
Questions, Mel?
Yep.
All right. My first one is, when does time start?
When does the
time start when you leave Williston, or time start when you get there?
Yeah. Travel time's included.
Okay, so then I won't worry about mileage because there was no mileage in here. But yes, if you're going to charge travel time, I'm good with it.
Yes.
Anybody else got any questions? All right. Take a motion.
I move approval of resolution 2025-88.
Second.
We have a first, we got a second. Any other discussion? All right, hearing none. Move to vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Yes.
Okay.
I didn't say it out loud.
Sorry.
I'm sorry.
4-0.
I know the vote isn't applied yes, so yes, I voted yes.
Just a FYI real quick, Levy County's putting together the same proposal.
Oh, really?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Item H. Discussion with possible action. Electric employees back pay. Human Resource Director Kim Troy.
Good evening, everybody. As soon as can you scroll down to the spreadsheet, please? So this spreadsheet, there's a note at the bottom. This is based on a 40-hour work week. There is no overtime or straight time calculated into this. I don't have access to that, so if we're going to add that in there, we will need to contact Stephen or Lori with Infomark. Each certificate is listed, and it's reflecting $1 based on a 40-hour work week back to the time when the certificate was completed. And it's listed by each certificate.
So the totals that were there, that was just our calculation, or was that through Steve?
No, that was my calculation based on a 40-hour work week. We didn't go through Stephen for this.
Okay. I would recommend that do a conference call with Stephen, maybe have the employees in there, and have all this taken care of by the time the next council meeting with correct ones, because I don't want to be to where we're going to continue to owe them money or they have to pay money back. So my recommendation is try to do an appointment with Stephen this week, and the three of you guys sit down and talk to him and get it straightened out. Is that okay with?
He can push a button and have it in no time. The problem is it's going to have to be compounded from each date. You can't just add it. You have to compound it on top of the one that was previous.
I do have a spreadsheet that I've broken everything down if you guys would like to see.
Right. I do have that.
Right, but it just gives you a rough estimate of what you might be looking at. But
and
overall, it would be going through.
And his dollar amounts, I will say I have the one that Cody has done, and it is, for example, the $18,000 is 22. He actually has his pay stubs, believe it or not, for all his time, and it shows all of his overtime. So, and his on-call time. So it's not just one; it's both. And all that is not included on this sheet. And so that all needs to be calculated. And the same with Kurtz. Kurtz is also the same one.
But getting together with Stephen and HR and sitting down and everybody go through it, get your certs, all that good stuff. I think that would be the best route.
That sounds fine.
Well, my other question is, has their time been updated? Has their rate of pay been updated? Like the check they're going to receive this week, is it correct? Anybody know the answer to that?
No. The PAFs have not been fully submitted. I don't have all of them.
Okay. All right. Good. Well, see, this is definitely not right then, because we owe them every pay period that goes by. We owe them more money.
Yes, ma'am. I did that on, what day did I say? When you guys were in there?
August 8th.
Oh yeah. So we already owe them.
Just curious why we didn't just call Stephen from the beginning.
I was given 2 days to do this, sir.
Well, you could have just called him and he'd have done it for you. I mean, he can like push a button. He does reports for me all the time, I can tell you. For example, I have this special report I love to get from the fire department, and I usually pull it just for budget time, just that lists individual people, and it shows all their different categories. Their categories of their duty pay, their on-call pay, their when they actually go on call, and plus their retirement. It shows me all those different categories, and he does it in like 30 seconds. So rather than spending time doing this, let him do it for you, and he'll compound it.
Yes, ma'am.
That's what I would do.
The PFs, have they been submitted to you and not Infomark, or you have not yet received PFs to submit to Infomark?
I do not have all the PAFs. Some of them are written on, they need to be redone.
Okay.
and that's partially why you haven't got all of them. Mike wanted to submit a first batch and get that approved.
Okay.
But with all the pushback, he hasn't even attempted to do the second batch for the rest of them, because the first one is still ongoing since February.
Okay, so he's on it in answer to my question. That Mike is where it needs to get the PFs in, and he's working on
As
it.
long as he can actually get them put in and they be submitted, then yes, he will do that.
I guess my question then is what would prevent him from submitting them?
The fact that the ones that are already in are still not being submitted. That was his initial plan. Get the first few certificates pushed in, let them be submitted, get them approved, see how they handle it.
Are we talking about the PFs that were submitted a while ago?
Correct. All the PFs each council member has seen.
The personnel action form, in case y'all wondered.
Yeah. So I guess we need. I mean, that's the first step of this process is to have those to submit to Inframark. Is that correct, Kim?
And if you'd rather have them all so that Stephen can do them all.
Yeah, I guess that's my question. Like, is that what you need in order to have their pay stubs, paychecks correct by the next pay period? Is all of those PAF forms submitted by Mr. Miller?
Yes, the original ones weren't submitted because we didn't know if we were going to be able to go back to 2023.
Not submitted to Inframark or not submitted by Mr. Miller?
Not submitted to Inframark, and then they were written on. I'm waiting on. I need new ones.
From Mr. Miller?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so, all right. I don't know if Mr. Miller's still here, but hopefully he can get those submitted by the next.
And I would say go ahead and do them all. Let's calculate them all.
Yeah.
If not, we're just going to keep over time.
Let's get it done, over with, and realize that there's a valuable lesson learned. When stuff gets turned in, it's got to be submitted. And I'm not saying it to you guys. I'm not saying it's Mr. Miller. It's just a broad thing. If you get it, deserve it, you need to get paid for it. So, again, I'm not saying anything about you guys. Or anyway,
it's not up to them. If it was up to them, it's been done.
Right.
You know, it's other people that haven't done it on their behalf. It's sad that they had to bring it to us to get it done.
And I'm not saying it's Mr. Miller or whatever, but we've got a lesson to learn from this. Right, HR?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we're going to bring this back.
Yeah, and just to clarify, this problem existed long before our current HR. So for anybody
Right.
misheard that as it was directed,
or our current city manager,
or our current city manager, this is
from 2023.
This is a lesson.
100% agree.
So when we bring it back next council meeting, it needs to be 100% done. So that's your challenge.
I would say through the pay period they're getting right now, because it won't be right either.
Yes, ma'am.
And
yes,
then
sir.
it'll be 2 weeks till they get the next one. Let's get that one right.
We'll do.
If possible. I know it's a lot of work, but I think Stephen, if you can get Stephen to do it. I mean, I realize that's
the only. That's the only barrier I see is just trying to get a hold of Stephen.
Oh yeah, I realize that, and I know he's had some health concerns too. So while we're talking about that, can I talk about this, or is that a totally different issue? Yeah. This spreadsheet that's got all the licenses on it, we got that too.
Yes, that's the next
Is that
one.
a different issue?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
That's the next
Go
one.
ahead. I'm sorry, jumping ahead.
Okay. Ready? All right. Item I, discussion with possible action, certification audit, HR Director Jim.
So this spreadsheet states the employee's first, last name, which certification or license they have, the date of the certification, who signed the PAF, the date of the last signature, and the date submitted to Inframark. And then if the pay was updated in Edmonds. This was a challenging task because I had to search through multiple, it took a long time. The ones that don't have anything there, where it says date submitted to Inframark or things that are missing, I some of these I had to go through emails to search for. There's no PAFs for them. Not sure if they are required to be paid for them as part of their certification with their job. And if there's any questions, please let me know.
I have yet to see. I asked for, and this is not something that Kim hasn't provided, but I have asked to see the list of certifications from the department heads that are pertinent to their employees' job requirements, and that would provide them with the $1 per hour raise. And we still haven't seen that.
Yes, ma'am.
So and again, that's not you. I am asking the supervisor, department head, please have that list so that we just have a ballpark idea of what we should be looking at here. And also, one of the other things that I requested was to have a list of if we're creating redundancy, which I totally understand, from one department to another, so that if we have on-call people and they can assist each other, we could also have that as a separate list of these would be the certifications that would allow us to have some redundancy in our staff to cover emergencies and such, or staff shortages. I don't know if you've gotten them, Kim, but I have not.
No, like I said, I asked the department heads to work on that. I've gotten probably half back at this point. I gave them till Friday, so they are working on it. Yes.
And my question about the list is, we were told that this was everybody, and there's at least 7 people not on here that I know of.
This is everybody that has certifications in their files, ma'am.
Okay, well, there's a lot of other people that have certifications that aren't on here. So I think we ought to figure out who they are, because they've all got dollars for them. So why are they not in their file?
And it's all being updated, and it should be done by Friday, like Miss Sue indicated.
I mean, like Amos and Dallas and Alex and Chrissy and Ralph and Jimmy and even Zach Miller.
They should be on here, because I did.
They are not on this page, because I looked for them. Now, you may have them somewhere else, and they just didn't make the page.
I think there might be a page missing because it goes from Brandon Cunningham to
Correct.
Joseph Whitehead. There might
Yes.
be a page missing in between here, Kim.
Absolutely, there is. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Maybe when it printed front to back, and so there you go, so you have it.
I mean, the pages are numbered 49, 50.
But when she got it, it was front to back.
Oh, and there's a back.
So there's
Okay.
another page.
All right,
Sorry
so you'll
about
send that out to us again, because I knew there were people missing, and we owe them. We either owe them money too, or they've been paid, and we just want to know it. Yeah. I appreciate it. Thank you.
So that'll be brought back next meeting too.
We can, absolutely. Make sure you get the corrected list of the verbiage. Absolutely.
Okay. All right. Item J. Discussion with possible action. Sealed bid for a 2016 Dodge Charger patrol car. Police Chief Rolls.
I think we're all familiar with this process. We have a 2016 Dodge Charger. We've had a lot of mechanical problems out of it. It's costing us a lot of money to keep it going. And besides that, we're trying to eliminate some vehicles to cut down on insurance costs. So this vehicle is one that I think it has met its lifespan as far as a police vehicle. And we're asking to have a seal bid to sell it. And if you remember, we've done pretty well with our seal bids on these vehicles. So we're hoping that we'll have the same luck now. So we're just asking for permission to decommission it and do a seal bid on it and sell it.
Yes, sir.
All right, go ahead. Are we going to seal bid it or put it on that website? Yeah, that's it.
I don't believe it would go to that.
No.
Okay.
No.
My understanding is that it would be the same process as we're used to.
thought that was what it was for.
There are
There are other people put this kind of equipment on there.
we could
That I saw. I mean, I'm just saying.
we could. I mean, it's
It's
not
like-
out of the question. It just wasn't one of the things that we had previously discussed using the
I mean, it's
the
like
platform for.
it's like that RFP for the Pesto property. If we weren't putting it on central bidding, we'd have had it up already.
Well,
That's
no,
kind of the
it's
hang-up.
not. That's not necessarily the hang up. The hang up is that there were forms and procedures through our procurement policy that our audit wanted updated in accordance with.
And our
Florida.
the auditors.
Yes.
Okay.
So it had nothing to do whatever platform we were going to advertise that on. That would have been the same case.
I think we get more response from a local sealed bid.
Well, I can tell you, when we purchased the vehicles from Dunellen, they went through that same process you're talking about.
Central bidding.
Yes, and they didn't get any replies at all.
Just us.
Yeah. So, also when we go with a central bidding auction place like that, we've got to pay for that. You know, and that's money that's being taken out of our cost that we're getting for the vehicle.
So there's no cost to use central bidding.
Okay, no cost. Okay.
So there are many platforms that do charge you, but with the one that we've approached, there's not a charge.
Okay.
There's no reason we can't do both. We can advertise it everywhere.
I'm good with the way we've done it.
The sealed bid for the 2016 Dodge Charger patrol car. Second.
We have first, get a second. Any discussion? All right. Hearing none. All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed? All right. 4-0.
Y'all waited it out. We're
All right.
finally there.
Item 8. This is your second opportunity to address the council. At this time, anybody from the audience can come to the podium and speak for 5 minutes on any topic other than what is on the agenda. Please state your name and residency. Just a reminder that the council does not have.
Do I have to say name and address and everything again? Okay.
Yeah.
Shannon Church, address 590 Northwest 4th Place here in Williston. Big part of me wants to finish on why I believe the AMI is going to be a huge benefit to not just the residents, but also the city. But the other part of me really wants to tackle the now. Yes, when it comes to getting grants, getting loans, getting anything, we're only going to be able to apply for the things that we're aware of. There are resources out there where we can find more that we can apply for this long-term fix. But the primary concern that I have, and so many other residents have that have been contacting me since the moment I spoke up, is what are we doing about the bills now? Me, for instance, the claim was my house used 30,000 gallons of water, yet I'm hardly ever there. So I'm stuck with having to figure out how to pay a $900 bill when at the end of my bills for the month, as a single working mom of 3 with 2 jobs, is about $300 to $400, and that has to span over food as well. What do we do about that? We're aware that we have an ancient water system. We're aware that that would take a ton of money to fix, and we're aware that that may take a lot of time to fix. But what are the residents able to do right now to be able to make this bill and not have our water and electric and gas cut off? And if that was to happen for many residents, because we're all facing very similar situations, we're not able to pay that bill. We're not able to bring that revenue into the city to be able to disperse and pay for many things, such as the police department, the fire department, everything. We were fully aware on how everything works and how much it's going to cost and how much time it's going to do. We're worried about right now. We're worried about in a couple of days, is our lights going to get cut off? In a couple of days, am I going to be able to make food for my family? And it's not a one-person issue. It is so many of us. We're having that right now freak out. And anytime we call, we get told, oh, do you have a farm? Do you wash your house? Do you wash your car? That really upsets us because it feels like we're not being taken serious, because maybe $900 might not be a lot to you guys, but it is so much to many of us residents. So what I'm going to ask, and I know you don't have to speak, I respect that. I just want it to sit and resonate with every single one of you. What do we do right now? And how long are we expected to wait before there's some sort of resolution, some sort of plan in place that's publicly announced for us to be able to say, okay, I know they have our backs. They're going to figure out how we can make this work and how we can work together, instead of it being, we just need to pack our bags and move away and hope that we can find something better somewhere else. We don't want to do that. We grew up here. We want to stay here. We want to be able to pay our bills. And even if we were able to pay our bills this month, who's to say it's not going to happen again and again and again and again? The people who have experienced this many times over many years. And it has changed, fluctuated with the amounts. It doesn't seem like it really matters what our actual usage is, because we can sit with the city manager, which I really appreciated, being able to come in and going over, okay, what could be the possible usage? Where could it have gone? To check your consumption? I respect and understand that, but that's exactly what I felt the urge to come here and challenge. There was no extra consumption. It's not just a mystery out in the ether, and I didn't find it very fair for it to just be, well, you somehow use it, figure it out. Even if someone came and stole the water from the side of your house, you have to pay that bill. What do we do? What do we do as residents when we're faced with that? The churches only have so much. The Community Action Agency only has so much. They can't help us all. So how do we end this never-ending cycle? How are we able to fix our issues right now, understand our issues, instead of just asking each other or calling and getting nowhere past the receptionist, which she's trying to help, she's trying to do her part, but it's a roadblock no matter where we hit. And how are we expected to pay the bills and not just let it just get turned off and go somewhere else? That can't be our only solution, is get a credit card, get a loan to pay your bill, and hope it doesn't happen next month. How is that okay? Thank you for your time.
I just have a quick question for you, if you don't mind. Did you have a meter checked?
3 times.
3 times.
Yes, ma'am.
And are you in CLE, so those are the new meters? Did I understand that?
Well, I'm currently over in the Lennar.
Okay, yeah. Sorry, Country Lane Estates. It's sweet.
Thank you. Yes.
No, I have alphabet soup up here. I have to ask all the time too.
No worries.
Okay, so the meter is new, and it's showing that that's the amount of water that is passing through it.
It is showing that it's supposedly accurate, but we've put it to the test. We've turned off all the water in the house, left for the entire day, checked it at the beginning of the day, checked it again at the end of the day, and somehow it's supposedly used 1,000 gallons.
Anybody talk to you about the irrigation system issues?
We've had the irrigation system checked out as well. I rent. So I was asked by the landlord not to run it.
Mm-hmm.
We run it periodically for a few minutes just to make sure it comes on, it works good. Okay, we shut it back off. We have a complete new system in our garage. Other residents can attest to this, where we can set all the different settings to make sure that we're utilizing the least amount of water, but enough to be able to keep our lawns alive and to not get HOA fines, which we're facing.
Right. So, I mean, because and this is just a little bit of history that came from a year ago when we had a lot of residents in that same subdivision who had these very similar number of usage of gallons. And what had happened was that, well, I'm not going to place blame, but anyway, the irrigation systems were broken underground by the construction process of, like, this house was built and they did the irrigation, and then the concrete trucks drove across the lot next door and broke all the irrigation lines. So the water was leaking out, not because you were using the irrigation, but because it was literally leaking out through the irrigation lines. And I think there were several people that ended up being the problem, and that was how that was resolved. And I apologize that information was not presented to you earlier. But it was exactly. They would slice an irrigation line. So even though you're not turning it on, it was still leaking underground nonstop. Am I not?
So we're saying that's an issue that happened almost 2 years ago, and it has not been resolved,
well,
and we're still paying the bill?
No. Here's the thing. It was resolved for them because it's not the city's fault. It is the property. I live over on the other side of town, but there's an old irrigation system at the house that I purchased. The house was built in 1942, so at some point somebody put an irrigation system in. It doesn't work anymore. But if that irrigation system breaks, that's not the city's fault. I have to fix that. So that was what the residents of CLE
last year did was they fixed their irrigation system that was broken by CLE contractors, Country Lane Estate contractors that came in, put in the trees, the irrigation, did the concrete, driveways, all of that. And they fixed that. So I'm not saying that that is what is going on with your house, but that issue was not, the city didn't break the irrigation system. The city wasn't causing the leaks. The city wasn't, I
do understand that.
I'm just saying, I'm not sure that's what it is, but it might be something to look into to see if wherever your irrigation line, and I'm sorry for dragging the meeting on, but this came up the last time with CLE, and we actually had like meetings with CLE residents we used the room across the other way. There were so many people there that were experiencing the same problem as you. And what they had to do, to the best of my understanding, maybe Mr. Bishop can correct me if I'm wrong, was figure out where the line for the irrigation was broken.
Correct. So once we were able to figure out where the line was, and you had a qualified plumber fix it, bring the receipt, we were able to reduce the bill. Yes, ma'am.
Exactly. So that's just something to speak. I know you rent, something to speak to your landlord about, because you're not the only one that has experienced that, but they do seem to those numbers seem to be localized to Country Lane Estate.
Well, the sad thing is when I've spoken to the residents, neighbors, every single one, super high bill, not high bill, super high bill, not. There's no consistency. There's no pattern.
One place maybe the lines got broken because the houses were not all built like in order like this. Some of them, but they would have the irrigation guys would come in, then there would the concrete guys come in, then there would the tree guys come in. None of them spoke to each other.
But if that was the situation, then why would my usage bill have gone down from $30,400 to $5,800 within the very next month?
That I do not have an answer to.
But I do respect, and because those are things that I would look at myself.
Right.
But if that was the situation, then it falls on the resident to contract out for a plumber or someone to come out and verify there's an issue.
Right.
Then come here, say, okay, here's the issue, here's the paperwork. Then how long would it take for that to get handled? Right. And in the meantime, it's the families, the single working moms that are having to foot all of those bills. Just to survive.
I understand, and it's really challenging because I know there have been other instances, and Mr. Bishop can probably list 150 where somebody had a toilet leaking or a pipe under a house that broke, and the same thing. And I get it, and it's the city does try to work, but you do have to have a plumber come and figure out, like he said, and then the city will work with it. So anyway, it's just something to look into for some of your neighbors. Maybe pass that word on, because those kind of numbers. We heard a lot of those with the Country Lane Estates building project.
We can definitely get in touch with the plumbers that are already kind of working on our hard water issues. A lot of us ended up having to spend an additional $5,000 to $6,000 to get a water softener installed, just because there was no water able to get through to the pipes inside the house. There was at least 4 months in my house alone where I only had cold water, and it was very small trickle coming through. And that was something that, thank goodness, my landlords were wonderful. Before I moved in, they had, I think it's B&A, the plumbers come out and certify everything is good, but, it's going to happen again until you get a water softener. We'd had it looked at again just to make sure there's no leaks, there's no issues, which pipes are we needing to flush out, make sure the whole house, everything coming in is going well, as well as the irrigation. We had all that checked out for a second time and then had the softener put in. Then 2-3 months later, our $200 bill turns into almost $600 bill, and the $600 bill, which I honestly, I didn't really look at it at first because I was like, oh, it's hot. Yeah. Maybe our electricity is running. Didn't even think about it. It was not that much of a hike. It was a big hike, but not the end of the world hike. Then it turned into an almost $900 bill, and it's like something's going on here. So to have our meters looked at multiple times, to have our waters and pipe looked at multiple times by a plumber on my property with no explanation of water usage or any kind of leakage or any kind of systematic break underground. There's proof that none of those things have happened, and still I'm facing a bill. And I can figure out how to make a one-time $900 payment one way or another. I'm very resourceful. But at the end of the day, I'm worried about next month and next year and so on and so forth. I can't plan ahead for my family if this is this issue randomly pops up. There's no explanation or no confirmation of what the issue is, but yet we're just having to foot the bill because, like you said, this particular issue may not fall in the city. It may fall somewhere else, but no one's wanting to take that responsibility or offer any kind of assistance to the person it's falling on, which is us.
I hear you, and I appreciate that. Thank you.
I appreciate you letting me explain that because it's so much more than just, I didn't use that much water.
Right.
we're doing our due diligence. We're calling plumbers, even though it's like $300 to $400 to have them come out. We're installing the softeners because we know at the end of the day that's what's going to keep our pipes clean with the hard water. We can't fight the hard water. The hard water is the only option we have here in Williston. But when we've exhausted all other avenues, and then we come here and we get asked, "Do you own a farm?" I kind of wanted to just go home and cry. And then the other time I was like, no, there's always a solution. There's always an explanation. You have to just dig deep enough to find it. Just like digging deep enough to find the grants and the resources needed to fix the overall water issue instead of waiting for the moment it explodes. And now we have to spend 2-3 times the amount of money to replace the entire thing after it breaks. That's why I was hoping we can find some sort of long-term solution that we can work towards and find money to reallocate, or maybe even use my resources over at UF with the grants and research departments and help find a solution for that, but also help find a solution for right now. Instead of watching these families, which are so many families, it's just a mom and her baby living in Section 8, and there's no way they can pay that bill, even with the $100 assistance from the church. Yeah, it's heartbreaking. It is.
I just want to offer something. I've had a similar situation, and I'm like you. My electric bill at one point was $400, and then this month it came in and it's $900. And I don't live in the city. I do have a farm. But what I found when I went back to figure out why my electric bill was so high is our water trough for our horses had a very small pinhole. I'm not saying this is your problem, but it had a very small pinhole in it. So the water was just going. The pump was still going. Didn't know it. Then I found out that there was a small leak in the toilet. So it kept running and running and running. I didn't know it. Fixed it. No leak on the toilet now. No leak on the horse trough. And electric bill went.
Right.
So something to think about. I know you had your pipes checked.
Oh yeah, we check stuff like this.
You may need to look in and just check, see if your toilets are still leaking.
I have. I fortunately have family in the trade. No, I appreciate that because other people may not know that it may be affecting their issue as well. These are things that we've been checking periodically, very, very often. We even, if you ask me how many gallons it takes for someone to run a bath, I can tell you, versus how many gallons it takes to run a shower. So when my kids come in, they say, "Oh, I want to take a bath." I say, "No, I'm sorry, that's 42 gallons. We're going to do a shower because it's only 17. That's nothing that they should ever even think about, or that I should really even think about at the end of the day when I'm like, I would love to take a hot bath because my back is hurting. I'm looking at that like, I don't want to spend another $300, so no, let's not do that. The one thing that I do appreciate with the AMI system, if we can find some sort of resource to help make this happen for us, is the moment that a leak is detected, not just the resident, but the city is also made aware instantaneously. There's a report proving this is happening. We don't have to have a plumber come out and verify it. The system verifies it. And then the system will notify all parties involved, letting you know, hey, we have this issue. We need to jump on this right away. So not only will the resident have less money that they end up having to fork out and find out they have a leak a month later, but you guys have the opportunity, if it is something that is on the city, to be able to jump in right away and handle versus waiting a few days when the water's just pumping in. Like the leaks that we've had in the water mains.
And we do know that. That's why we want the system.
Exactly. And if there's anything that I can do from any standpoint, I will do that.
And
the
the other
research I've
thing
done.
you mentioned, you said that you turned off everything.
Yes.
And that meter is still running.
Which is why we asked for it to be checked again.
Still moving. There's something going on somewhere.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It just felt like we would get to say, okay, there's something happening. And even when they called to say your usage has gone down magically, they said something's happened. I was like, okay, well then what do we do now? And it was just, pay the bill. And we're like, okay, what do we do after that? You know, coming up with a little bit of money right now, that's fine. But what am I looking forward to?
Jonathan, when you get somebody to go look at her meter or stand there and watch it move when you know everything's off. I know we've done that for others.
Yeah, we went through this though, just as a reminder with CL and back to Country Lane Estates and irrigation. Unless you have a separate meter for the irrigation, which I don't know if you do or not. If there is a leak,
$2,500.
Right? Yeah, no, I totally get that. I just wondering if there is a leak past the meter, between the meter and her house, and she turns off everything in her house, the meter will still run.
I realize that, but they don't tell us that.
Oh, okay, I see what you're saying.
That's one way to diagnose it is if they go check it.
Absolutely.
And we'll know It's obviously on her side because she's getting charged for it. It's on
Exactly.
her side of the meter. It's not on our side of the meter. It's on hers. If it was on our side, she wouldn't be paid for. She wouldn't be paying for it. But it's on her side, so she's paying for it. But there's got to be something that's leaking somewhere.
And that's another question. If we're having this magnitude of leaking, how is half my grass dead? It's all dead, which I'm facing HOA fines because of. So I'm like the crazy lady out there with the gallon of water that I bought from the store saying this is cheaper. Let me pour this over it. But there's a lot of issues that you are very well aware of when it came to when they actually placed it and what they used and how they did it. And I wish I would have been around back then to try to jump in and help. Yeah. But I'm new to it. I'm new to all this. I've been here about 6 months as far as that subdivision. Thank you. I appreciate your time.
Okay. Anybody else? State your name, where you're from.
Good night.
Good night.
My name is Brenda. I live in 537 Northwest. She's my neighbor. I will try to explain a little bit. I know my accent is very hard. We moved from Gainesville. Very happy because we finally have our home. But Gainesville is, a little bit supposed to be expensive deal. But here is more expensive. Like, we are paying a lot of bills, and also it's hard because we had to pay also our mortgage. But the thing is that it's going to be like 4 months that we don't use our sprinkler. We don't use it at all. Like, my husband and I, we like only 2 person in the home, and we usually are not at home between Monday to Friday between 7 a.m. to 5 p.m. The air conditioning usually is 75 when we are not home. We use our washing machine twice a week, and the bill is really, really high. So we just ask, what's happening? We pay for private inspector to check our pipe or everything at home, and he said everything is good, and we had a report like, no, you don't have a leak. Everything at your home is fine. So I just want to support a little bit her because we are really like, what is going to happen? We're not going to have money to pay this bill. If we don't pay the bill, you're going to cool our electricity or the water. So I just want support a little bit of her because it's not only her home, it's a lot of us. Also, he's our neighbor. We have more neighbors here, so it's like, if you see, we have a lot of time at home, like 60, something like that. Yeah, so, and we are, like, have the same issue.
Is it the water for all of you? Or is it something different?
So it's different stuff on a bill. I really don't understand, but just, you explain the e-adjust chart. I really don't understand that, but it's a lot of like taxes, like different. I really know why is
The
different
taxes
taxes.
The taxes are also a pass through. It's not something that we keep. It goes, I think, to the state or the public service.
They would be the same in Gainesville. You may not have seen them on your bill, but they may have just included them in the line item and not broken them out like we did, but you paid them in Gainesville.
Right. Our previous system did not break them out. The current new system that we have does break them out. That's that gross receipts tax and those other. There's another one, the gross receipts and sales, something else. If I had the bill from you, I could see it. They both are not us. They go to somebody else. And it's just being broken out now.
We are really happy to move to Williston. Williston is a really like great place and safe place, but the bill is like killing us.
Yeah. So when you lived in Gainesville, I used to live in Gainesville. Electric was a different charge. Everything was done. We have an all-in-one bill here, where your water, sewer, garbage, gas, all of that's in one bill. And I've known several people that have moved out here that have said they like it out here because it is cheaper. We have an all-in-one bill. Gainesville wasn't done that way. And that's what some of them, have said. So
Yeah, on Gainesville, if I can explain that, on Gainesville, the max that we pay was $150. And we also have everything on a bill, like water, electricity, like the waste, everything in one bill. And the max that we pay is $150, no more. Because we always have two people, like, two people is not supposed to pay more than $200 for one bill. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, I don't know.
It depends on what you're living in and how much you're using. I
Yeah,
know y'all are
exactly.
tired of hearing that, but it depends on how efficient your house is.
Yeah,
and
but
how
we
much you
really
consume.
take care of how we can, how much is spent, because I really, I'm biology, and I really, really like the water is the more important thing, and I'm not going to just spend water. So if I'm take a shower, I close when I use shampoo or when I, all that kind of stuff. So it's no means to that bill get so high just for two of us. And I mean, it's not only happen for us, but all of the community. It's the community, the entire community. It has this issue.
I mean, there's only two in my household as well, but my bill is running about $500, which is much higher than it used to be.
We really
It
appreciate
used to be
this
around
space.
$350.
Thank you so much for the time. And
Thank
we
you.
just want one solution for
I
us,
know.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else?
Yes, my name is Timothy Acker, 225. Maybe the city needs to get rid of some city vehicles and everything, and cheapen everything so we can use it to help locate these water leaks. And in a previous meeting, I asked Ms. Hinds if the Williston had a 5-year plan to bring everything up to code of the water code. She told me to go back and check the previous meeting. I did nothing. Wasted over 2 hours of my time. So just tell me, no, we really don't got one, but we need to be working on one.
But we are up to code. We're not up to code.
No, ma'am.
Yes, sir, we are.
I looked at her pictures right there where that 6-inch main goes in
We
3.
have
That's
people
not
who
code.
inspect our water system.
No, ma'am.
We take
I don't believe
analysis
it.
to the water every
Y'all
day.
got to prove it. It's y'all's judiciary duty to prove.
We have reports we can show you.
Well, then give it to us. Y'all keep kicking the can down the road. These people hurt.
Well, it has nothing to do with what you're saying.
Well, then how many city vehicles do we got?
This is something. What's the city vehicle got to do with how much?
That's that much more money. Do we got more vehicles than city employees?
No.
What's the insurance that costs them? How many people drive them that live out in the county that should be parked? What's the fuel bill when they drive it out to the county and drive it back? Yes, they do. Yes, they do. What was the code enforcement officer doing in Bronson a couple of weeks on Friday?
Dogs, Tim.
Nuh-uh.
Yes. We do the animal control over there. She has to go get them.
Well, it
Just
seems
heard
like
that
you
tonight.
drive around and you see everybody. They take an hour lunch. It should be 30 minutes. I mean, how many vehicles do we really need?
Not listening anyway.
Well, y'all don't listen. Y'all don't really care.
Certainly do.
Don't show it. Like these people out there in the north. Why don't you send somebody out there that's qualified like Jonathan here and go out there with the water and check the water and mark where it's all at.
Did you not hear me?
I'm talking about all of them. And then you want to laugh and think everything's funny when you brought up.
I'm not laughing.
You
We've
do.
had this conversation with you 6 times, 8 times. And yes, we have sent people out there multiple times. Mr. Bishop can tell you.
Well, these people right here, you know what I mean? Y'all act like you don't really care.
I do not.
I mean, maybe a
That's
few.
the other way. That is not true.
Well,
You make it
it's
sound
hard. It's hard to believe it because me as a citizen, it's not just me. We ride around and we see people. It looks like they're screwing off on multiple occasions, all the time. In a city, it ain't just a city vehicle. It's the fire department too. So it's the whole gamut of waste and fraud. And you can't say it's not true. We got roads in disrepair. Just look right in here. Look down here at nursing home. For real. There's several roads that need to be fixed. Not all of them, but several roads to be fixed. I mean, like in front of my house, I put dirt this deep down in the potholes to keep from everybody beating the front end of it. This poor lady right here, y'all to see where she's at right over there. I took videos of it. And to be honest with you, y'all keep kicking the can down the road, I'm going to Doge. I will drive to Tallahassee on my own time and dime, and believe me, I will. I'm about it. Something's got to happen. I'm here to catch rats.
Hello. Shauna Sullivan, 329 Southeast 2nd Street again. I just want to tell you some points I missed the first time because I was nervous and I didn't have time to prepare. The pictures, that was counting this 10-month stretch of the water leak, with the exception of the first 2 weeks of April after our meeting, where you laughed at me, and so did you. Remember, they were there, weren't they, Sue? They laughed at me about a bracket. But anyway, 11 times. So all those pictures, this is the 11th time. In April, they turned the water off for 2 weeks. It's the best 2 weeks I had in 4 years. Women. Then they came and hot patched it. They didn't dig. We watched them. It took them 10 minutes. They didn't dig in and fix it. It's not even band-aided like they were. They just put the asphalt on it. 2 days later, look on your record, Colin, there's a wet spot coming up again, and at the water. I was told, they'd have to shut 27 down to get the water back on, blah, 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 blah. Told so many things. And then I hear the stories of this poor woman. The millions of gallons of water that have been pouring into my foundation, my yard, the wastewater, where she says her grass is dead. Okay. I've got to mow. I got to
Ma'am,
get down.
What we want to hear with you?
Well,
What
this
you
is
got?
about me.
Right,
The
but you
water-
keep referencing
Well,
over
no,
her.
they're paying. But if I were a conservative, like, there are people, they're paying for what is being wasted. The wastewater, the water that's been running for 10 months straight. See, I'm not allowed to say the word. I was told not to ever say that. But this water's been running constantly to my foundation, or Joseph's foundation, to his house, to this. We put every dime into this house. It is a $200,000 house on the inside. Y'all, people called the cops on it one time because Joseph is disabled. He has 13 diagnoses. The police sergeant comes in. Oh my God, your house is beautiful. No wonder you're so upset. He was being antagonized by the city worker. He just said, do a good job. Do a good job. The police stood up for us on that. You guys do your job? You can see these people have put every dime they've had into this house just to get out. And we can't. We can't because of being competent. It took 2 people to do a locate order again today. They had another one just came 3 days ago. Another one came another 7 days ago. I don't understand why this can't be done. Why, in this day and age, you can't go to a machine shop if it's that big a deal. When we've got your own city workers saying, we got plenty of old pipes laying around. Replace the pipe. The Highlands have brand new pipes. We don't. I got to live with mosquitoes, bugs, cleaning supplies, everything. We are the historic part of this town. I've lived in many cities, different states, and I tell you, the most respected neighborhoods were the historic neighborhoods. The ones that've been there. I live in an 80-year-old house. But we have it's not fallen. It's lived through every hurricane. It just kills me to see the disrespect. How we are as citizens, taxpayers, and I have to say this. I got to be in reference to a bike share thing. Were you mentioning that earlier? Some kind of thing with a bike share thing. I thought he said something. I don't understand it because my realtor can't even put on the paper that our roads are walkable to shopping centers, even though I'm only 4 blocks from here, because the road conditions are so bad. It's the water. You know how when you're looking at a house and it says, oh, you can walk to here, it's walkable to this restaurant, that restaurant, you can't. You got one sidewalk on one side, not on another. Then you got poles pothole water. You should see the people in our neighborhoods that live or the elderly have pairs of the bike, the little handicap bike. They can't. They have to go out of their way to get to where they're going because of this issue. Please try to fix it. It's just, I said 11 times. Next time I'll fix it back. And I'll get the video. And thank you. I'm sorry. It's frustrating. And all the water is under our house. Rock line.
Thank you.
I'm Joel Penny, 43 Northwest 4th Street. So I was overhearing the conversation with her. She's had 3 employees come out to look at her house. The first time, why didn't they shut off all the water and check the meter for that time instead of wasting the 3 times going there to look at it? She said it did not because she did not shut off. No, she didn't shut off nothing. Why wasn't that done? Why did we waste that manpower?
Speaking to the microphone.
Why wasn't it done correctly in the right way? I'm talking. Yeah.
I don't know. You're asking the wrong person. So I can't answer the questions he's asking right now because I have to go back and look at the history. All the history is on the computer. It's easy enough to get to. I don't know verbatim, so I'm not prepared to answer any questions. But it's easy enough to figure out.
Wasted money and needs to be corrected. People not doing the job. Thank you.
Anybody else? Item 9, announcements. Staff, council, Ms. Wright. Anybody got any? Staff, nobody? All right. Thank you for that, Chief.
Let's spread some good news. If you all are familiar with the JAG grant that the county usually applies for, I think it's a $31,000 JAG grant. The last 2 years it hasn't been applied for, which it has been sent to different municipalities. Like last year was our year, but they missed the deadline, so we didn't receive it. This year, the deadline was missed again, so it wasn't received. So I took it upon myself, made contact with the county manager, and asked if they wasn't going to apply for it if they would grant us, because we're the largest municipality in Levy County of 4 cities, if they would allow us to take over that and apply for the grant. She took it to their board meeting. They approved for us to take over it. So Arizona, I sent her to school for grant writing. She's already made contact. We will be doing the necessary paperwork to receive that $31,000 grant. And we will continue to move it through the municipalities like it was before. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we'll get all the paperwork done. Once we get it all submitted, I'll bring it to you all attention. And if you give me the approval to submit it, we'll submit it. And hopefully we'll start getting that JAG grant revenue again to help offset some of the costs of things we need. Also, another grant that I am looking into is a grant for a drone. It's a $25,000 grant. The good thing about it is it's a non-matching grant. They actually give you cash advance. So if you find a drone and you get the purchase order, they will pay it, so it's no money out of your pockets. The reason I am looking into this is because we know hurricane season's coming. We have special events that occur in the city. We will be able to use this tool for crime scene processing, crowd control, 4th of July, Christmas parade. If we have a storm, hopefully we don't have a storm that hit our city, we will all be able to sit in this conference room and look at damage around the city without even having to go out and ride around, spend manpower, spend fuel, going out, checking things out. We'll be able to sit in that drone up, survey the area, sit here and watch it live on screen. If the fire department has a fire that takes place, we'll be able to send that drone up, give them an area shot. They will know where to respond if the fire is spreading, which direction it's going. So there's a lot of positive things that can be accomplished out of getting this grant for this drone. So we're filling out the paperwork now. I've already made contact with them, and they've told me, Chief, if you get it to me right away, I will get it approved. So as soon as I'm done with the paperwork, I will bring it back to you all. This is a first come, first served based grant. So I will be looking to try to get it approved as quickly as possible.
Does it pay for training for your operator?
And it also pays for training. I put on the paperwork for 3 people to take the training. Hopefully 1 from fire, 1 from law enforcement, and 1 from public works. I've already talked to Jonathan, and I've talked to the chief about it also. So hopefully we can get those 3 trained. So at any given time that it's needed, 1 of the 3 will be able to operate. So.
Very good. Thank you, sir.
All right.
Oh, how much money did you raise in the dunk tank, by the way?
Oh my God.
That bad, huh?
After being waterlogged.
you were waterlogged.
Yeah. The last report I got was $7,000.
Nice.
Yeah. So good amount of money. Not enough for hurricane preparedness is what the event was for. So to help our needy families, if we do get hit by a hurricane, that there will be some revenue there that they will be able to use to help families in need. So, hey, very good cause. I was happy to do it. I got the trophy. Cedar Key didn't show up, so, you know.
Very good.
They got bragging rights because he didn't show up.
All right. Nothing else? Anybody? All right. Item 10, adjournment.
Second.
Got a first, got a second? Any discussion? No? All right.
Yeah.
The time is 9:21, and this meeting is adjourned.